800-967-1671. Never pay for car repairs again. Just call 800-967-1671. 800-967-1671.
Hey guys, are you afraid of taking off your shirt in public? Don't be embarrassed. Just say, I love Lyle back instead with male breast reduction. Many men develop a fullness in their chest as boys that persists and even worsens as they get older. This condition is called gynecomastia, and with simple liposuction, most cases can be effectively treated. Call 856-MAKEOVER today to schedule your private consultation with Dr. Lyle and Back. That's 856-MAKEOVER, or visit ilovelyleback.com.
What can help you take advantage of today's low mortgage rates and save money? Rocket can. You could save hundreds of dollars every month by refinancing with Rocket Mortgage at today's near historic low rates. If your current rate is over 4%, you could lower your payment by over $150 a month, saving thousands in interest every year. Call us today at 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com.
Savings are based on Quicken Loans. Internal data. Points and fees may apply. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. And NMLS-ConsumerAccess.org. Number 3030.
You have the choice. Whether it's going out for dinner or ordering takeout at a local restaurant or buying that new outfit from a local boutique, those choices help to put money back into your community. And Town Square Media South Jersey puts a spotlight on local businesses.
First Bank of Sea Isle City, Cape May County's community bank.
Dr. Lyle M. Back for everything from skincare to cosmetic surgery. Go to ilovelyleback.com.
Egg Harbor Independent French Leader at Charles Schwab in the Consumer Square Shopping Plaza.
Filling Marble and Tile Outlet, Philadelphia Avenue and Route 30 in Egg Harbor City. FillingMarble.com.
Intuitive Women's Health in Summers Point, accepting new patients. Schedule an appointment today at intuitivewomenshealth.net.
East Coast Roofing, Siding, and Windows services all of South Jersey. If you call, they'll show up. Call East Coast today at 609-646-1444. Online at eastcoastroofing.com.
Thank you for supporting your local businesses. From Town Square Media, South Jersey.
The radio home for Philadelphia Flyers hockey. Big save by Carter Hart. WENJ HD Millville, Atlantic City. 97.3 ESPN. This is the Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN. Now, live inside the Matt Black Kia Studios, here's Mike Gill.
A good Thursday, everybody. Welcome inside the Matt Black Kia Studios. This is the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN. I'm your host, Mike Gill. That's Hunter Brody. Follow him on Twitter, at Brodes81. I'm at Mike Gill Show. Josh Henning is producing today's show. His wave was not very enthusiastic today. You see that? Yeah, just a quick little.
He's had better. I hope that doesn't really describe the day we're about to have.
Right? That's akin to, like, last night when I was leaving. I gave him like a rock and roll, like, I'm out of here.
I love that one.
Not one acknowledgement that I left. Nothing.
He gave you a head nod, he said.
Nothing.
Well, maybe do we respect the fact that he's in game mode? You know, he's in the grind.
I mean, gentlemen, gives you a wave goodbye while you're in your middle talk. You just kind of,
Well, imagine this. Imagine if after yesterday's show, maybe at like 5:15 when we were really in the grasp of our debate, somebody walks in and goes, see you guys, I'm leaving. You think that you would stop our passionate conversation to give that gentleman a wave?
Yeah.
You would?
Yeah, if we were like back and forth like this and the guy came in, I'd say, yeah, see ya.
Well, that see ya is equivalent to his wave to your rock
No, it was
star.
no hand movement.
Oh, no hand movement at all.
Nothing.
It was just the tip of the head.
I didn't see a tip. It was more like I had to give it like two, like, hey, acknowledge that I'm leaving, man. I'm giving you an acknowledgement that I'm leaving. And he's just straight on. I give one of these, nothing. Then I do it again. And I didn't really get much. And I said, all right, well, he just wants to be rude. I got you.
Classic Josh. What are we going to do with him?
I don't know. But like if somebody waves, don't you acknowledge them back in some capacity?
Every time.
Have to.
Every time.
Well, I don't know that we're waving goodbye to Carson Wentz just yet. Doesn't feel, I don't know. Saturday, it felt like it was happening like immediately that day. I like people were texting me like, you know anything? Do you heard anything? Now I'm not even getting those texts anymore. Are the people now fatigued? And I don't want to say fatigued to the point where you don't think it's going to happen, but I don't know. What are the Eagles doing here? Are they going to wait until draft day?
Well, I was always under the impression that this was all part of the process, and I still feel that way, but I just wonder if at this point it is serious that Howie Roseman is unwilling to pull the trigger because he's waiting for so much. Now, I always think that that's part of what GMs do. I'm going to put this out there. I want this. I want 2 first-rounders. And then they know it's like a car salesman. You go in and you know the number's going to be high. You lowball them, and then you meet somewhere in the middle. I just wonder now, the more it continues to go on, is he holding that hand too strongly?
I don't know, man. I know people just want to say Roseman's the worst and he's going to get fleeced here, but this is typically something he does well, right? Doesn't he typically play? Look, put your opinions of Roseman aside. This is a game that he typically plays pretty well. So it's like, are you slipping into the mode of, all right, it's Howie season? Or are you slipping into the mode that I hate Howie and I want him gone?
Yeah, you got to be
logical. What side of that
about
fence
it.
are you on?
No, I think that he's playing this right. I mean, you don't want to just give away Carson Wentz, but I don't understand truly what's going on behind the scenes. So he has to get a good vibe on that. But no, I mean, when it comes to this, you can't just trade Carson Wentz for nothing. You got to make sure you leverage it the best way possible. And no, I'm not on the fence of, screaming at Howie for this specific situation we're in right now.
Well, the question is Howie Roseman playing this Carson Wentz trade the right way? All right. That's what I'm interested to find out from the people out there, because I know a majority of our watchers, our viewers, our listeners, if you're watching the show live at 973ESPN.com, I know a lot of people don't like Howie Roseman, but take your biased opinion of him and put it to the side. Do you feel that he's playing this the right way?
Here's where I'll say I think he is. If he doesn't have a first rounder on the table and he's trying to work his way to that first rounder, I think that you're playing your cards right, and you're really trying to squeeze out that first round pick for Wentz. I don't think that that's the most egregious thing in the world. If he has a first rounder on the table and he's trying to pry out a second, and it's not even close to really being an option, and he's really holding on to try and make it look like he's getting that, you know what I mean? Like, if he has a first rounder and he's trying to squeeze out the second rounder and it's not going to happen, and that could be the difference in losing that first rounder, then I think maybe he's going too aggressive.
Now, this is an interesting one. Joe Show's watching on YouTube. What's up, Joe Show? Good viewer of ours. Rumors are the Eagles are interested in Russell Wilson. It's funny that he put that up there, because yesterday when they were doing all this Russell Wilson stuff about how many times he got hit, and he talked about it on the Dan Patrick Show, that we need to get better. And essentially that started, we had John Clayton on Tuesday's show, and we asked him about Russell Wilson and does he want to be traded? There's been some murmurs about that possibly in Seattle. And the thing I thought to myself was, I guarantee that Howie Roseman would pick up the phone and call them and say, what do I need to give you to get Russell Wilson? He's the one that got away, man. He's the one that got away. So I don't know, I'm starting to feel better about this whole situation for some reason. I feel like Roseman is, I feel like he's playing his cards right. I just have this feeling that Roseman's playing his cards right. And it's going to be interesting to see if he gets a deal and people are like, well, he got a lot more than I thought he was going to get. I got it. It's going to pain them to have to give him credit. But I feel like it's only apropos, Brodes, that it would get down that road, that the Eagle fans would have to kind of crawl into a ball and say, oh, man, Howie did something good.
I'm with you, and I lean towards right now that he's doing that. I'm on your side more, so I lean more towards your side that he's playing this close and he's playing this, in a good way, but there is a little bit of skepticism in me because that's just how I feel at the same time with Howie Roseman, but I lean your direction more. With the Russell Wilson thing, though, if you're Seattle,
yeah,
Carson Wentz move the needle for you? What if you can flip-flop Russell Wilson for Deshaun Watson? Because that would be, if he's that unhappy. But how many times do we hear a quarterback's unhappy? Aaron Rodgers is unhappy. This guy's unhappy. That guy's unhappy. And what did we hear the other day? Tell me, I think it was Andrew Brandt, right? He said, tell me how you feel, how unhappy you are when we talk about playoff football.
No, the quote that he gave, I wonder if I can try to dig that comment up. It was on Andrew Brandt does the Business of Sports podcast, and some of his versions of it are Brandt's rants. And the Brandt's rant that he did was Ron Wolf was the GM of the Packers. He built those great Packers teams. And what he said was, I don't care if they're unhappy in February. Let me know if they're unhappy in December. In other words, when the season's over. So, look, The Seahawks right now, they're quote-unquote not happy with Russell Wilson. What does that even mean? They're not happy with him. Watson's not happy with the Texans. This report says the Seahawks, they're not happy with Russell Wilson. So what are they going to do? We're going to trade this guy. I don't think we're not happy with you. So what are you going to do? Are you going to call the Eagles and say, oh, we're not happy with Russell Wilson. You want him? I don't see that happening. But I would bet every last dollar I have that if he was available, I know some guy who would be on the phone trying to make a deal, and that's Howie Roseman.
Oh, no doubt about it. He would be, along with many other GMs, I would imagine. So, right, a lot of teams around the league would pick up that phone to check in on him. I don't know how much juice there really is to it. It feels very similar to, and I know you're saying the Seahawks aren't happy, but when Aaron Rodgers wasn't happy after that NFC Championship loss, did anyone really think Aaron Rodgers wouldn't be back in that green and yellow uniform for next season? It's all kind of just like a prisoner of the moment kind of thing in that scenario. And right now, what are they unhappy about with him? The fact that he sometimes talks after the season's over and says things that isn't maybe the best thing in the world. All right.
This is a byproduct of Wilson. You know, Wilson's frustrated with them. And then apparently the feeling becomes mutual because Seahawks front office members, they're not happy that Wilson went to the airwaves and started to air their grievances, essentially calling them out. He said, quote, I've definitely been hit. I've been sacked almost 400 times. We've got to get better. And he said, I got to find ways to get better too. So he didn't just single him. Like, that's the part that I think got lost in the sauce. He didn't just single himself out or the line out. He did say, I need to get better too. But at the same time, he said, I've been sacked almost 400 times in my career. We got to do better. And apparently that was enough to tell kind of push officials with the Seahawks.
Yeah, which is kind of crazy to me because I feel like if I'm in that Seahawks organization and my quarterback says that, well, is he wrong? And like you said, it would be different if he was just going up there and bashing everybody involved and screaming at them and then taking no accountability for it. But he said, I got to be better. The line's got to be better. If you're in the front office, shouldn't you say, he's right? Instead of saying, I'm pissed off at you, Russell Wilson, you should be saying, well, he's kind of got a point. We need to beef up this offensive line a bit. That's how I would approach it.
Instead, you might come down the road where it's like Russell Wilson's like, oh, you're mad at me? I want out.
It's crazy. I find that hard to believe, though, that he's going to be out of town.
I find it hard to believe, too, that those two would divorce each other. I mean, Wilson just seems like he is, every time he finishes one of his interviews, he's like, go Hawks, like he just epitomizes that franchise, I feel like. So, look, it's what Andrew Brandt said. Oh, you're not mad you're mad at the team in February. They're mad at you. Yeah, let me know if you're mad at me when training camp comes around.
Unless, is this just where we are in sports? Where all these players, you have the power and you have like that voice and you can move yourself if you want to by demanding a trade. Is this just where athletes are in 2021 that this is how it goes? Like, hey, I'm frustrated and I want to be traded. I don't know. I'm just trying to see if this is how sports works now, where this is just natural and this is what it's going to be every year and this is what you need to deal with as an organization. You're going to hear frustration. You're going to see frustration. You're going to have to find ways to keep him happy. They have the power, and how do you adjust as a franchise?
Well, it definitely is way different than it used to be, where if the guy breaks wind, there's a report. It's like you can't do anything now without somebody. Well, there's a report that he's not happy. Well, there's a report saying that report's not right. So it's part of the world we live in where you just don't know who you can trust. You don't know what report is accurate, which is not, because it sounds like, well, some reporters have the ear of the organization. Other reporters have the ear of other people in the organization. So their messages sometimes are conflicting. You might have somebody, I'm just throwing an example out there, somebody who has a direct line to Howie Roseman. Somebody else has a direct line to maybe, I don't know, somebody that is.
Maybe Doug Peterson.
Okay, maybe it was Doug Peterson.
Yeah.
But I'm even thinking about somebody else in the front office that we don't really, like, let's say when Joe Douglas was there. One reporter might have a direct line to Roseman, and he might feed them something. Somebody else might have a direct line to Douglas, and Douglas might say, it's a little different than what he's saying. And that's how two separate stories get out there, and you get these conflicting reports. Now, sometimes both sides are in on it, and that's where it gets confusing, where Roseman says one thing, Douglas says another, and they plan that so that you're left not knowing what the real story is.
Yeah,
that's where we might be here.
Yeah, I think we are. I think that's exactly where we are. Similar to, last week we heard that there was possibly a package together for the Bears, right? And seeing if Nick Foles was in return or whatever. And I just think we're hearing so much about how much information the NovaCare complex puts out there and leaks. Maybe that was all part of Howie's plan. We talk about how Howie's holding off, waiting for this. Well, if the Colts see that there's a package on the table from the Chicago Bears, will that now have the Colts put up a different package or try and counter that package? So I think that there is a lot of that leaking information going on just to try and get an upper hand, and they're trying to manipulate the message, if you will. That's exactly what's happening.
They want to control the narrative.
Exactly.
And they want, it's almost like they want to split the sides. They want half the people to think, well, this is Roseman's fault. No, this is Wentz's fault.
Why would you want that, though? Because you can't put all the blame on one person? Because imagine all of that hatred towards one individual, which it does seem, to be honest with you, is Howie. You say it all the time. Is there one person that actually would say, I'm a Howie Roseman fan? And even you, you don't hate the man, but you don't say you're a Howie Roseman fan. Do you? Unless you do, but I don't think you
No, I'm not I love the fact that Howie Roseman is the GM of this football team. But I think it's like our conversation yesterday. And look, we don't need to go back down the road, but my point is I'm taking an objective view. I'm not being a fan here. A fan would say they haven't been successful enough for me. The comment that sparked the whole conversation was there's no consistency. And I'm thinking to myself, let me step out of this for a second as a non-fan and just say, if I didn't know anything about football and I just looked at the Philadelphia Eagles over the last 20 years, they're the sixth most consistent team in all of football. There's only 5 teams that have a better record than them in 20 years. So either you want them to be better than those 5 teams, which is your right as a fan, or the expectations are just completely out of whack. I get that it's disappointing that they haven't won more than one Super Bowl in that 20-year span. That wasn't the point. It was they have a lack of consistency. And I said, no, they're the most consistent team in the conference other than, I think it was Green Bay. They are the second most consistent NFC team in the entire conference in a 20-year span. You can't ask for much more than that other than the ultimate success. If you want the ultimate success, then yes, they came up short and they have underachieved. But my point is, in a 20-year span, they have given you 15 opportunities of, I don't want to say realistic. Maybe some of those, they weren't realistic, but the 1 year, for instance, I thought about this last night. This is stupid that I think about these things. The 1 year when they had McNabb, I think it was 08 or 09, when they went to the NFC Championship game and played the Cardinals. They only won 9 games that year. They were 1 win away from the Super Bowl. They had beaten the Cardinals on Thursday night on Thanksgiving that year. They crushed them. People thought they were going to go to the Super Bowl again. That wasn't like a legitimate Super Bowl team, but they were 1 win away from the Super Bowl. They went to the NFC Championship for a 5th time. So it's all, my point was, over a 20-year span, they have the 6th best record in the whole league. There's only 5 teams that are more consistent than they are. So they have been consistent. They've been constantly good. Have they been a Super Bowl contender all those years? No, and that's disappointing. Have the Saints underachieved? Yes, but guess what? Even with where you think the Saints have been more of a contender than the Eagles, their record says they haven't been. There's only one team that says we've been better than the Eagles in 20 years, and that's the Packers. And I think we, as fans, don't acknowledge that enough. We are so fixated on the now and the problems that this team has, and that's fair. But again, it goes back to the Roseman stuff. Is for 20 years, this team has been the 6th best team in all of football.
Yeah, I think just as you're right, we don't need to go back to the heavier side of the convo like we did yesterday. But just to throw a little bit of my side on it is, I think of recent the New Orleans Saints more so than, because when you were spitting off the earlier of the 20-year career here, the Saints were a little bit slower. They weren't where they were with the Drew Brees towards the end here. But I just, for me personally, whether this is right or wrong or you feel different about it, the Andy Reid era and the Howie Roseman era, I don't know what to do with that. So I don't know if I need to give praise to Howie Roseman, if I need to give all those wins success to Andy Reid. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I personally, I don't know what to do with that, just because was that success an Andy Reid success? Was that success a Howie Roseman success? And he was in place. So he was in place. I just don't know how to take in that information. And I think that skews my feelings on Howie, because every time I think about him, I don't know what to do with it.
Right. And that's why I don't really know how to quantify Roseman, which is why I don't have a positive view or a negative view of him. Really, I don't think he's the best. Certainly don't think he's near the worst.
I agree with you on that. He is clearly not the worst GM.
Look, we've talked about this plenty of times. There's plenty of rankings out there. If you could find me a ranking where he's not in the top 10, that'll be the first one that I could find.
And I'm with you. And you know what? As much as, because I definitely do lean towards the frustrated part of the Howie Roseman tree for sure. Not as much as most, but I do lean that way. That does tell me something. And it's information I don't like to hear because I'm not like a big fan of Howie. But you are right. All of these people in the league do tend to feel a certain way about him. And I don't like that because I do want to move on, and I do kind of want to head in another direction just for a fresh voice. It has nothing to do with how I feel about him. I just think it's time to kind of refreshen up a bit. But you're right. When the league and people higher up look at this man, they see him differently than most.
Well, because what they do is they see a team that is constantly successful. Our level of success is different from what the businessmen who run the NFL say. If they say your team is constantly winning 9, 10, 11 games, you're constantly making the playoffs, you're constantly in play. If you're in the playoffs, you're constantly in play for a Super Bowl. You and I might know you're not a legitimate Super Bowl contender, but guess what? Getting those games, winning your division, all those things, like they're constantly getting people every year. When the Eagles season starts, you feel they got a shot. Why? Part of that reason is what Howie Roseman has done. Now, Will Ham is watching on Facebook. Over 20 years, always a bridesmaid, except once. Will, I get that. But we talked about this last night. How many teams in the NFC have multiple Super Bowls in 20 years? They've all been the bridesmaid. They're all the bridesmaids. So, yeah, it's frustrating that they didn't separate themselves from that pack. The only team that has won multiple Super Bowls is the Patriots, the Steelers, and the Giants. They're the only ones, I think. I could be, I'm going off the top of my head here, but everyone's the bridesmaid. That's the NFL. We want the Eagles to be the exception, not the rule. And that's fine. You can say, I really wish they were the one team that won 3, 4 Super Bowls. But that's the exception. That's not the rule. You know, and it's like, I feel like if you were just Hunter Brody from Mississippi that has no NFL team, and you looked at it, you're like, man, this Eagles team, they're always pretty good. Like, they have the 6th most wins in 20 years. They're always in play. I think we would appreciate it a lot differently. It's kind of like looking back at the Andy Reid era 10 years later and being like, I appreciate what I had, even though they never won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I absolutely do understand what you're saying. Obviously, what you say is supported, and you're right. There's just so much involved, though, with where we are now with the Eagles, and I think just where we are internally is somewhere where. And I know you might bring up when Andy Reid had the 4 wins and they got healthier and all, but I just think we're in such a strange place that we have never really been to before.
Yeah, well, I think if this year goes down a road where you're 4-12, 5-11.
Yeah, I wonder what a 5-11 season, because we all can agree if they win 4-3-2-1-0, it's clearly. But what would a 5 or 6 win season do? Where would that put them with the Howie thing? And
I think in the same spot.
You do?
Yeah, I mean, I do think that if they, as I mentioned before, they have one back-to-back losing season in 20 years. One. This goes back to, they've been pretty darn good. As a fan, you can't ask for much more other than just winning the Super Bowl. Like, I would love to have won more Super Bowls, but, man, this team has given you, like, part of being a fan is going for the ride, going through the regular season and the ups and the downs and getting into the playoffs. And then they get into the playoffs and there's a double doink and you go on again and you're like, this is great. And then, you know, oh, man, if they just catch that pass against the Saints, who knows what happens? That's sports. That's being a fan. Like, they've given us so many of these great rides, but we want more. We want to win that Super Bowl.
I understand that. I just think now, though, like I said, now it would be different if that's what we got, but I don't think that's where we are anymore. Like, now we're just in this strange situation where
that remains to be seen.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
No, but you're right. Like, I think if they have a season that is frustrating and they just look like the Bengals.
Which is weird, though, because what can you possibly expect out of Nick Sirianni with possibly Jalen Hurts and this roster this year? What is a fair expectation? I think, and I know you talk about the injuries and all, but not knowing anything as an organization, what is a fair expectation for this upcoming team wins-wise?
I don't know, but it feels a lot like when they had Chip Kelly. They went 4-12, and then they hired Chip Kelly, and it was like, I have no idea what this team's going to look like. Are they going to punt? Are they going to pass every down? Are they going to run every down? Is the quarterback just going to run every play? You had no idea what to expect. I feel like that's kind of where we are. I have no idea what to expect from Nick Sirianni. You're just assuming, okay, he's some young coach, and you're going to have maybe a more creative, innovative offense.
But if I'm looking at it from a Howie perspective, if you're Jeffrey Lurie, knowing that this is possibly a down year, what do you give Howie as a reasonable number for him to keep his job? Because you can't demand 12 wins knowing that that's not what you have. So if you're Lurie, if I'm looking at Howie and I'm assessing him,
what if they go 8-8?
Right, that's what I'm. If they go 8-8, he's probably back.
Sports Bash is brought to you by Matt Blatt Kia. They want to get you approved today. Matt Blatt Kia. Black Horse Bike, Egg Harbor Township, Mike Gill, Sports Bash, Brodes. We got a lot to do today. Sal Paolantonio at 3, MKB inside the Sixers, DiCecco football at 4, Keith Smith on the NBA, Sixers tonight against Portland. Watch the show live at 97.3ESPN.com. Chris Hernandez is watching on Facebook. What up, Chris? Says, I feel like Eagles don't have a plan moving forward. They hired Nick Sirianni, who was on no one's radar for the head coaching job, and now the quote-unquote franchise quarterback doesn't want to be here. What is their plan moving forward? Are the Eagles tanking? Is Nick Sirianni the new Brett Brown? That's an interesting question. We'll get into that, Chris. Stick around. Everybody watching, we'll be right back. Don't go away. This is the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN. And don't forget, download the free mobile app. You can watch the show right on your phone.
Turn it on. Leave it on. The Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN.
Don't do anything until you check Ford Hyundai's President's Event. I mean 0% APR, savings up to $5,500, and payments from $199. That gets you a new 2020 Hyundai Elantra SE with $999 cash or trade down payment. All taxes and fees included. Same deal on 2021 Tucson SEs at $249 and 2020 Santa Fe's at $299. 3 of over 250 President's Event specials on right now. Get offer details at sporthyundai.com or go Sport Hyundai.
Last night's sleep? Interrupted by pain? Tonight, silence it. With new ZQL Night Pain. Restful sleep, now with powerful pain relief. ZQL Night Pain combines America's #1 sleep aid with a maximum strength pain reliever. So you can fall asleep fast and wake feeling rested, because pain should never get in the way of a great night's sleep. New ZQL Night Pain. Silence pain. Sleep soundly. Available at retailers near you.
I'm Harvey from Bernie Robbins Jewelers. Love makes one do crazy things. Take me. I'm having a 50% off sale, a crazy Cupid 50% off Valentine's sale with interest-free financing, something we haven't done in years, featuring great Valentine's gifts and engagement diamonds at 50% off with interest-free financing. Shop BernieRobbins.com or go crazy the old-fashioned way and visit one of our stores. The 50% off Crazy Cupid sale ends February 13th. Why the 13th? If you haven't done it by then, I can't help you.
When you want experience, go for the best. Pick up the phone and call Dennisville Fence.
Right now, Dennisville Fence is installing your neighbor's new fence. Right now, another neighbor is signing up for their new fence job. Right now is the best time to get started on your new fence or railing project, because right now, the pandemic is causing major supply chain delays. What used to take days can now take weeks or months. So the earlier you start on your new fence or railing project, the more likely you'll finish your project on time, and the sooner you'll enjoy more privacy, safety, security, and style. Don't delay your new fence or railing project. Get started today. Dennisville Fence is open, and we are now scheduling new estimates for spring installations and also offering material sales for DIY and new construction projects.
Go with experience. Go for the best. Pick up the phone and call Dennisville Fence. 1-800-499-FENCE.
Visit DennisvilleFence.com.
Hey, sports bettors, it's Mike Gill, and I wanted to share with you how I've been cashing in on the PropSwap Sports Bets resale app. On average, sellers on PropSwap have been making $500 a month. It's easy. Just post all your betting tickets for sale on PropSwap and let them find you a buyer. Listing your ticket is always free, and if it sells, great. But if not, the bet is still yours to keep. If you're not selling sports bets on PropSwap, you're missing out on incredible side hustle. Start making extra money today by downloading the PropSwap app and selling your sports bets.
Hey, Matthew, we need to restock those sleeping bags.
Indeed knows unexpected growth can stretch your business thin.
One of you cover this register?
Like at Anita's outdoor store. To keep sales climbing, she needs to get started hiring right away.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. And the moment you sponsor a job on Indeed, you get a short list of quality candidates from our resume database. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get a $75 credit for your first sponsored job post. Terms and conditions apply.
A message from your neighbors and friends at First Bank. We've been serving residents and businesses of Sea Isle City and the surrounding communities for more than 130 years. Today's challenges, while unique, are another opportunity to show our strength and resilience. Our commitment to you remains strong. Whether it's using our drive-through services, bank by phone, the First Bank mobile app, or online banking, we're staying strong with you. Be safe and be secure. First Bank, here for you.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Was 2020 full of dings, dents, and scratches? Your tax refund and Mako can help. Refresh your ride with a refunded Mako to undo a little bit of last year. Head to Mako.com to get a free online estimate today. Better get Mako.
The Sports Bash with Mike Gill and Brodes on 97.3 ESPN, the free mobile app. And now you can watch the show live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter at 97.3ESPN.com.
All right, watch the show live. Go to our website, 973ESPN.com. You can check us out right there. This is the Sports Bash. Is Howie Roseman playing this Carson Wentz trade the right way? Is he playing his cards right? Use the comments section, and we will continue to chat. Chris Hernandez put up an interesting question before we went to break, Brodes. He asked, do the Eagles have a plan? Are they tanking? Is Nick Sirianni the new Brett Brown? I don't think that's the case. Like, I don't think you're bringing a coach in, with the intention of him kind of developing the players, then handing it off to somebody else.
No, I would be shocked. And you even said this before. It's like this organization is not normally the one to say, hey, we got to really start from the ground up, unless, like I was kind of alluding to earlier, they've never been in this situation before. So do they analyze it and go, maybe this is what we need to get back to that constant success that we are normally accustomed to? We've never seen them admit to it. We've never seen them really commit full throttle to a full-on 100% rebuild where we are going into the year saying, hey, we might be a 3 or 4 win football team. It's just not what you see.
Well, and I want to respond to something Chris said on who's watching on Facebook, and he asked, Sirianni was on no one's radar for head coaching. Neither was Andy Reid, and neither was Doug Peterson. So you don't have to be on the radar to be potentially a success. Like, you can be someone that fell through slipped through the cracks that somebody didn't know about. I don't think anybody thought Doug Peterson was going to be a Super Bowl winning head coach.
Yeah, I agree with you. It doesn't bother me that he wasn't on another team's radar. The one thing that bothers me the most out of the entire coaching staff is there's not one guy to lean on. If there was one guy to lean on, I feel I'd think about it a little bit differently. A Jim Caldwell. Just someone that if Nick Sirianni's having a little bit of trouble, a little bit of stress, hey, Jim, what would you do here? You know what I mean? Just like one veteran voice would have made me feel more comfortable. Just one.
Kevin Bacon. Is that the Kevin Bacon? I doubt it. Doesn't look like his picture. He's watching on YouTube. He wants to know, why does Roseman get credit for getting us out of cap hell that he's gotten us into? Well, he hasn't gotten credit for getting us out of it yet because he hasn't. But I think the whole cap thing, gets blown out of proportion a lot.
Yeah, I do see a lot of people around the league and who cover the league saying the cap space is something, but it's easy to manipulate. It's not as if
and he's the best at manipulating it.
Right.
That, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I wonder what it's going to be this year, because this year is going to have to be those tough decisions. So you're going to get under the cap because you're forced to get under the cap. But does that cost you a Brandon Graham? Does that cost you a big piece?
Well, somebody asked this question. Ryan Schiffler, I wanted to make sure I said that right. He's watching on Periscope.
Those aren't T's?
He's watching on Periscope. Aside from 86, that's Ertz, 17, that is Alshon, and 86 again. I'm imagining he means, he says aside.
Well, I think it's Malik Jackson, Alshon, and Ertz, right? I mean, unless maybe he's not talking about Malik Jackson, but Malik Jackson.
He wants to know where this team is cutting cap from. Well, 10.
Yes, Deshaun Jackson. But you're shredding cap, but you're also taking dead cap money. But yes, you are losing money off the books when you do that. So it's going to be Alshon, it's going to be Deshaun, it's going to be Malik Jackson, it's going to be Zach Ertz, and that's like the four obvious ones, right? As we sit here today, and then maybe
guys that you can cut and save money on. Fletcher Cox.
I don't think that's I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't either. That would be, well, this is pre-June 1st. I could switch it to go post-June 1st. Like if you cut Wentz, if you just cut him, it would be a $24 million hit.
I think there's something to be said about post-June 1, though, just because all the reports you're seeing is that's when Alshon's going to go. That's when Deshaun and Malik Jackson are going to go. So
you want me to go post-June 1?
Let's just flip it to post-June 1.
If you cut him post-June 1, Fletcher Cox, you would have a $16 million cap saving.
Maybe I was
Brandon Graham, $13 million cap saving.
You can't do both, though. I think it's one or the other. Would you agree with me?
Yeah, now both of them carry dead money.
Right.
$8 million for Fletcher, about $5 million for Brandon Graham. Guys that I think are realistic. Zach Ertz, if you cut him, it's an $8.5 million cap saving, and it's a $4 million dead money.
I wouldn't rule out Brandon Graham.
Derek Barnett, no dead money, and a $10 million cap saving if he is cut post-June 1st.
I think you can do that. Utilize Josh Sweat, maybe.
I think Derek Barnett seemingly is a prime candidate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Deshaun Jackson is an $8.7 million cap saving post-June 1. Isaac Seumalo, $4 million.
I don't think so. You don't really have anyone at left guard. And he's your safety valve for if Jason Kelsey is no longer in play, he'll move over to center. I don't think that's a move that they'd make.
Okay. Avonte Maddox is $2 million.
So if we're starting to play with the $2 million, we got to look heavier. We got to look at those Brandon Grahams. You got to slap off a good chunk here, right? I mean, the $2 million, the $3 million, while they all matter, don't get me wrong, you're going to have to make a tough decision with some of the top guys.
Yeah, you're looking at guys, if I'm going down into the lesser known players. Now, there's I don't say a new regime in here because Howie's still here, but you could cut Arcega-Whiteside and save almost $1 million.
I think
the big money guys are the ones Marquise Goodwin's interesting. I don't know what happens with him because he is a $4 million cap savings, and he opted out this year.
And he got money, I think, for opting out. You do get paid when you did opt out, I believe.
You did.
So that goes against the 1 year because was it a 2-year deal?
I'm not sure what his deal was 100%, but he is scheduled to make $3.9 million this year. His cap number is a little bit more than that. And he has a cap savings of $4.28 million. Another guy that's interesting, he's not a huge cap number, is McLeod, but keep in mind he's hurt, so you can't. That's a tough one.
Right. By the way, Marquise Goodwin signed for 1 year, $1.35 million last year. So
I don't know that contract.
That's a good question.
I don't know how that works.
Right. Does that count to the year? Is he still part of the team? Is he not? Do they have to re-sign him? That is an interesting question.
Now, the pre-June 1st stuff, it's interesting because some of the guys that we mentioned, like Alshon Jeffrey, we know that they are going to designate them post-June 1st. But, if they were to cut them now, you would actually, the cap savings, you would be $3 million in the red. You would be $7 million in the red for Malik Jackson. That's why you have to wait till after June 1st for those particular guys. But, one of the other guys that you could do something with, we talked about Fletcher Cox. If you just cut him now, it's $2 million as opposed to if you wait till after June 1st. So, yeah, he's going to have to get creative. But to go back to that guy's question, where is this team cutting cap and being creative? The question that the other guy asked, why is Roseman, because That's the one thing that Jeff Mosher had told us the other day, and you heard what Jeffrey Lurie said. Lurie trusts Roseman with the cap, and if you're going to get me in cap hell, I don't want to bring someone else in here to try to figure out how to untangle this web. I know that you know how to untangle the web. You got us in this mess. I'm pretty sure that you got us in this mess with a plan to get us out of this mess.
I would agree with you. I feel confident that he's going to be able to maneuver some stuff. Now, it will be costly. It's not as if you're going to be able to snap your fingers, get under the cap, and you're going to have all these fantastic players that you're limited fantastic players, but the ones that you do have are still going to be in place. You're going to have to make tough decisions, but I think it's time. I think it's time to hit a reset button where I'm okay with moving those pieces. It shouldn't have fallen to this point so quickly, but since we are here, the best way to get out of this is you're going to have to get rid of some new guys, get some new faces. Orlando Scandrick, and I hate to really bring him up because I think he's a scum with the way that he handled everything there when he left the Eagles. People feel entitled, though, and I think it's time to somewhat move on from these entitled, hey, we won the Super Bowl here, and get hungrier people involved in this organization.
You know, we had a lot of the guys from the Believe Network on. Scandrick does a podcast for Believe. We asked to have him on, and he was the one guy who declined.
How about that?
He's not a very nice human being.
Yeah, some would say.
Sean Poole is watching on Facebook. I think part of the frustration is being so close and having many good teams that it increases expectations, which makes the heartbreak hurt worse. I agree with that, Sean, but I also think it makes people more irrational.
Yeah, that comes with it
because of the amount of times you've been so close, and because they're always like, I don't think you would think the same way you did if this was Cincinnati and then they randomly won. I don't want to say a Super Bowl. I think that's almost too extreme.
But I hold them to a higher standard because there is a collective group of teams that the Eagles are associated with, which is the top teams. But as a part of that collective group, you have higher expectations. So, like, you're right with the Cincinnati Bengals. I wouldn't feel that way. But you are in that group, which I give them credit for. But it's not okay to just be in that group. Now it's time to execute in that group. And I think that's where that's where that extra level comes into play.
And again, like I go back to like, you're a part of the group with Green Bay, Seattle, New Orleans. Who else would be in that group?
The Steelers, right? Ravens.
Well, I'm talking,
just the NFC.
In the NFC. In the league, group. You are a part of the group with the Steelers and the Patriots. Well, and no one's in the group with the Patriots were. I think people now, that might change. But you're in this group. By the way, Tampa, I think, has won 2 Super Bowls now in 20 years. Although, no, this would be 21.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be in that 20
wasn't in that window.
Nope, wasn't in that window.
Oh, damn.
You're in a group in the NFC with Green Bay, Seattle, New Orleans, Philadelphia. It's really those 4 teams that have had the most success in a 20-year period. Not one of those teams has anything more than you have. They all have 1 Super Bowl. So you're right there with your contemporaries.
Yeah, you are. And the way I look at it is I do give you praise for being in it.
Would you rather be the Giants with the 2 Super Bowls but lousy seasons, or the Eagles that you've been constantly in play for 20 years and only 1 Super Bowl? So you had 1 extra Super Bowl, but you had a lot of misery wrapped around those Super Bowls. Or you're the Eagles, you only won 1, but man, you had a lot of fun runs.
I think most sports, I would agree that the sustained success is better. Seeing that Super Bowl and seeing where we are now and how quickly things can change, how crazy it was to win it, I think I would take the 2 just because it's that hard to win it, as we see and as we talk about. Rodgers, Breeze, all these guys that should have more than 1 only have 1. If you're telling me I can get 2, knowing how brutally hard it is to do, I think I'd have to take that 2.
See, I go with the 1.
Yeah, just because it's that hard. But other sports, I'm different. I feel the Super Bowl is different for me.
I would go with the Eagles 1. And all the fun that I had getting there, you know, the Reed years were great. There's been the couple, even with the 9
I don't think that's a
teams
horrendous
the last couple of years, by the way. You know, I said before, you don't agree with me. I think they were 9-7 based on the injuries. They got into the playoffs and gave me a couple good runs. I mean, I got 2 fun games. The one year I beat the Bears on a double doink, and I'm a catch away from beating the Saints. Like, I enjoyed that ride. Like, I as a fan can say I enjoyed that. At the time, it hurt. Looking back at it, it sucks. But I had a blast. Like, I can't, like, I think people just don't appreciate the fun of the run sometimes.
I'm not discrediting that, and I don't think that your mindset is flawed. I don't think you're crazy to say you'd rather take the sustained success, because I feel that way in other areas. I just think with that Super Bowl trophy, we talk about Hall of Famers and the greatest to ever play the game at the position, and they all only have one when they should have more. That shows you how hard it is to do to kind of support some of the conversations you have. It's very hard to do it. So if you told me I can get 2, how can I pass that up?
I mean, I'd love to have 2. I'd love to have 3. But you know what? I say to my friends who are Cowboys fans all the time, who throw it in your face, and I say, you know what? As soon as the Eagles won the Super Bowl, I was over it. Like, I'm on to the next season, and I'm already bitching and complaining about this season. So winning that Super Bowl in 2017 did nothing to satisfy anything more than the 48-hour period right there. Because as soon as it was over, the next season, you were right back to bitching and moaning, and it's Howie Roseman's fault, and get rid of the coach. He stinks. It's like, the guy won the Super Bowl. Well, apparently that's not good enough. Like, I'm like at that point where it's like, in the moment, it's great, but outside of that fairy tale 48 hours, reality sets back in that nobody cares that you, that's what the Cowboys have that one thing over you. They won all these Super Bowls and they live it for their whole lives. That's all. They're the blue ends.
Oh, geez.
And that's all they know.
The blue ends.
But
come on.
It's like the Eagle fans almost want to replicate that. It's like, well, I'll take 2 Super Bowls. Why? You had more fun. The last 20 years, you've had more fun seasons than the Giants. They've lived in misery. These last 5 years for them have been horrible.
Yeah, but they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but they forgot about it already.
Yeah, but you still take the championship. I can't not take the championship.
Always Testy is watching on YouTube. He says, last time we went 4-12, we won the division the next season. Everyone relax. I can agree with that. I've been saying that always. I've been saying that this feels to me a lot like that. You went 4-12 that year. A lot of that was based on the injuries to the offensive line. And then the next year you came back not knowing what to expect, and you surprised everyone.
I don't think there are another 4-win season ahead of us here. I don't think it's to that degree. You might be more in play due to the division. You might be, but I don't think there are 4 wins.
ESPN.com just put out its 2021 power rankings. And I'll tell you where the Eagles finished on that list. Both in the league and in the division. You might be surprised by this one. Sports Bash brought to you by AmeriSave Mortgage. Lower mortgage rates means more savings. Find out more at AmeriSave.com. It is the Sports Bash, 97.3 ESPN. Will is checking in, says Baltimore, New England, Tampa Bay, Pittsburgh, New York, all multiple winners. Don't want to rehash yesterday. Just started listening to you guys, loving the commentary. But you know Philly fans, passionate to a fault. If you're not first, you're last. Well, guess what? We've been last a lot, and I know, Will, as last as we've been, you got a Flyers avatar in your logo. They've been last then more than everybody, and you still love them. Flyers are like the Eagles. They're always competitive. They just never win anything. Don't you love the Flyer seasons?
Depends. There were some ugly moments in there.
Back with more. I'll tell you where the Eagles fell in those power rankings, though. You might be surprised to hear this coming up.
It's Sixers basketball tonight on 97.3 ESPN with the voice of the 76ers, Tom McGinnis, calling all the exciting play-by-play action.
Harris throws it away. Simmons with a steal. Simmons down the lane. Oh, yeah. Right down Broad Street with a two-hand jam.
The Sixers are in Portland to face the Blazers. Tonight, coverage begins at 10 p.m. Philadelphia 76ers basketball on your radio home of the Sixers in South Jersey, 97.3 ESPN.
Kendall Auto Plaza offers the area's best car and truck buying experience with 60 years of customer satisfaction and community service. What's on their 100-acre lot? A huge inventory of Ford, Lincoln, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Chrysler, and over 100 quality and certified pre-owned vehicles. Whether you use your car, truck, or SUV for work or play, discover why Kendall customers are so loyal. Kendall Auto Plaza, exit 10 of the Parkway on Stone Harbor Boulevard, or shop from home at KendallAutoplaza.com.
Babe, look, cash pop from the New Jersey Lottery. We just got to match one number, 1 through 15, to win.
Whoa, so easy.
Our anniversary date? September
6th?
14th. Not to interrupt you guys, but the more numbers you play, the better your odds of winning.
Well, the 6th was our first date anniversary.
Aw, let's play both numbers.
With Cash Pop, you could win up to 250 times your wager. So pop in and play. Anything can happen in Jersey. Must be 18 or older to buy a lottery ticket. Please play responsibly. If you or somebody knows a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Okay, moms and dads, you gotta check this out. Target has all the easiest ways to check off your kids' entire list and get them ready for school. Like Drive Up. Order ahead and Target will load your school order right into your car's trunk. No contact required. Check. Or my personal favorite, Target School List Assist. Check off your kid's actual class list in a click and have it shipped to your door. Check and check. This year, check everything off the list with easy and contactless ways to get ready for school. Only at Target. Restrictions may apply.
Looking for the perfect gift for your sweetheart this Valentine's Day? Why not treat your sweetie to a gift card from Dr. Lyle and Back's Cosmetic Surgery Center of Cherry Hill? Gift cards can be used for anything from skincare products or services to surgery and everything in between. Hydrofacials, microneedling, skin rejuvenation, Botox, facial fillers like Juvederm, Radius, and Bellafill, liposuction, breast augmentation, and more. And Dr. Back's gift cards never expire. Call or stop in to get your Valentine's Day gift card. Call 856-MAKEOVER or visit iloveLyleBack.com.
Any credit card can offer cash back, but only Discover matches all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year. It's like getting one of those birthday cards that's shaped like cash, so you already know there's cash inside before opening it. But in this case, it's stuffed with your first year cash back match, and you don't even have to send a thank you note. Cashback match. Only by Discover Card. Learn more at discover.com/match. Discover. Something brighter.
Before you move in and start making a lifetime of memories, there's something you should remember: the value of working with a realtor. A realtor is more than an expert in the field who abides by a code of ethics. A realtor is your neighbor and your ally. Someone who puts your agenda ahead of theirs. Someone who understands your dreams and has the expertise to make them a reality. Finding the right place starts with you and a realtor, and the doors we open together. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
Okay, sports fans, it's time to get into basketball mode. Football's behind us, but we are making a fortune right now in pro basketball at wagerpro.com. Call this toll-free number right now, and I've got the TNT parlay tonight absolutely free on a 30-second recorded message. Call 800-499-3733. That's 800-499-3733. That's 800-499-FREE. The point spread winner of tonight's matchup between Miami and Houston, and the second matchup as well, Portland, Philadelphia. Guys, we're going 2-0. They're both nationally televised. We're going to make big, and I mean big money on both games. Call now. They're absolutely free, and they're on a 30-second recording. Call 800-499-3733. That's 800-499-3733. And be sure to visit wagerpro.com.
Now, back to the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN.
Hey, Sports Bash 97.3 ESPN. I'll tell you what, the power rankings for next year are out. Not that they really mean anything pre-free agency and draft, but it kind of gives you an indication of where people think of this team right now. And in the power rankings at ESPN.com, the Eagles rank 26th in the NFL. 26th in the NFL.
Wow,
and they were worst in the NFC East.
Wow. I thought you said you would be surprised. I thought maybe they would be optimistic towards the Eagles. I'm going, uh-oh, what are they putting us in the top 10?
No, but I did see the betting odds for the division next year, and they had the second best odds behind Dallas. I think they realize that Eagle fans will bet on the Eagles. They try to get that money.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a good idea, because I was going to say that doesn't really add up here, the second odds in the NFC, unless they think it's going to be that putrid again where second in the NFC East could be a 3-4 win football team.
I don't know. I mean, I was talking about this with Josh earlier today. Like, if they get Dak Prescott back now, there's some talk about that whole situation being blown up in the air. I mean, the whole Dak Prescott, and they didn't put him in the video, and now you got some of these former Cowboys saying, I don't know why they didn't sign him, and there's some thoughts about they might have to trade him away. I mean, you enter that into the mix now. But if they get Dak Prescott back, if they had Dak this year, they would have run away with this division this past year. Their defense was a mess, but it got better as the season went on.
I was going to say, they cleaned up a bit. And what we saw in the beginning when we were poking fun at them and making fun of them, that, as bad as a defense as it was, that wasn't who they were going to be forever. So you're right. They probably would have ran away with it. And you look at it now on paper, I think that they have a great shot at taking control of this NFC East.
609-403-0973 on the text board, 609-403-0973. Send us a text. We also got a ton of comments that we got to get to over on the live video stream. Chris Dunn is watching on YouTube. Wentz and Ertz to the Colts for 2 first, the third. There's too much in that.
Yeah,
trade.
no shot is that happening. By the way, though, some optimism, though, when you talk about those rankings. Mike Lombardi did say that Nick Sirianni was a horrendous hire, did he not?
I did not hear that.
Yeah, at the time of the signing, Mike Lombardi came out and said something else about the coaching hire. So if you want to look off the track record, he might win us a Super Bowl.
David Lee's watching on YouTube says Howie is playing this right. He's looking for the best offer. I'm more on that side. I think Roseman's actually playing his cards right on this one.
What about what I said earlier, though? Do you think it's possible that he has a first on the table and he's not pulling the trigger to hold on to maybe grab another part of the deal? Would you be okay with that? How would you feel if there's a first on the table right now, but he's not taking that? Would you be okay with it? How would you feel?
Well, it depends on what they end up getting.
Yeah, because there is going to be a time where enough is enough and like, all right, it's time to stop reaching for more pennies and you got to accept the deal.
Yeah, and Sal Pao's going to join us in 7 minutes from now. So I think he feels the same way as if they had a first, they probably would have taken it by now. But I don't know. The question is it just one team, two teams? How many teams are involved here?
And another question is, are you getting rid of him no matter what? So at the end of this, no matter what the best deal is on the table, you know he is out of here. Or is there seriously a chance internally where they think, if I don't get the offer I want, I'm keeping him? What is their mentality?
That's a hard one because, and we can ask Sal that is, look, if they don't get the offer they want, are they prepared to bring him back?
Exactly.
And I'm sure his answer will be, they're going to get the offer they want. But that being said, what if they don't?
Yeah, it's a very interesting situation that we have here.
A couple messages coming in. Always Testy is watching on YouTube, says Eagles did what the Phillies did. They kept the championship players too long. Yeah, I think, and they admitted that. Lori said it. We saw the window in 18 and 19, and we may have done. And Joe Banner said the same thing. He said they were uncharacteristic with some of the all-season signings that they did, and they did it because, look, winning that Super Bowl made them make irrational decisions.
But I also wonder, too, because it is uncharacteristic for them to keep guys as long as they did. So since they did that, is the only way out of this to kind of rebuild, which is another uncharacteristic thing, but they have to do that because of the uncharacteristic move they made prior.
But you know what? Part of it is staring at yourself in the mirror and saying, okay, I made mistakes. Now I got to go back to doing what I did to get us there.
But don't you think, and I know that people aren't going to walk up to the podium and just say this, but if we heard that message clear, just the way we described it, we did something uncharacteristic. We tried to win another Super Bowl. It didn't work. So right now we have to go and try and fix this thing up. So we have to make another uncharacteristic. You know what I mean, though? Like maybe not to that level, but just explain that to us. And then we're not in this mess that we're at where we're trying
I think they tried to. They said.
Really? You think they tried to make that message clear? Because this is a disaster.
Maybe they didn't make it clear, but I call it what they said it twice. Roseman said it and Lori said it, that in 18 and 19, we thought we still had a window, and we went for it.
But this isn't a clear message. They screwed up.
I got the message.
No, come on. You have no clue what they're thinking. Nobody does.
Jeff Bone and Pookie's watching on YouTube. Is that three people, one or two? Is that Jeff Bone and Pookie? Jeff Bone and Pookie? How do you read that one?
Jeff Bone and
Pookie. Two people. Super Bowl 52 team was totally different. Right place, pieces at the right time. Difference is they felt that a lot of those pieces could do it again in 18 and 19. That's where they overplayed their hand that time. Sal Paolantonio is going to join us on the other side. I encourage you to stick around and listen.
Wake up weekday mornings from 6 to 10 with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin on 97.3 ESPN.
If you want the job, go take it. Go take it. Like, I need my quarterback to have that mentality. I feel like this is Jalen Hurts' team. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like you have to let Carson Wentz go somewhere else.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin. Weekday mornings at 6 on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
It's a new day.
Start off the new year with a new ride from Rossi Honda. Get first time ever 0% up to 60 months. Add in our free oil changes with tire protection only at Rossi. Lease a new Honda HR-V LX for only $99 a month. Or lease a new Honda CR-V LX for only $199 a month.
It's a new day.
Only at RossiHonda.com. We treat you better, period. See dealer for details.
This President's Day at eBay, we want to prove like new is better than brand new. So we're not only giving up to 50% off certified refurbished, but we're adding an extra 20% off coupon too. Because while brand new is nice, it's also twice the price. And if you don't love our like-new products, they all come with an industry-leading 2-year warranty. So this President's Day, say goodbye to brand new and find certified amazing deals at eBay, where good is new just got better.
East Coast Roofing and Siding, protecting what you love and own. East Coast Roofing and Siding, trust us with your family and home.
Hi, I'm Larry Styler. And I'm Sean Styler. We'd like to remind you that East Coast Roofing, Siding, and Windows is a professional business open year-round and has been serving South Jersey since 1979. It seems, however, that many of you feel sorry for us in the cold and hold off calling until spring, along with everyone else. The truth is, we and our families eat as much in the winter as we do in the summer. So call us now while prices and wait times are at their lowest and learn how great financing plans can help you. And please don't feel bad. We have Long Johns and we'll wear them. So call 646-1444 or visit us online at eastcoastroofing.com. If you'll call, we'll show up.
East Coast Roofing and Siding, trust us with your family and home.
Allstate now has deeper savings, and deeper savings require deep thoughts and a deep voice, like mine. Save for being a new customer. Save more for adding DriveWise, and save even more for driving safely. Visit allstate.com or contact your local agent for a quote today. As someone once said, saving today is money tomorrow. That's deep.
Not available in every state. New customer savings based on early signing discount. Drive-bys is an optional feature. Savings vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Northbrook, Illinois.
If you're struggling with a drug or alcohol addiction, now is the time to take action and get professional help. Call Recovery Centers of America at 1-888-RECOVERY today. You are worthy of recovery from your addiction, and calling RCA will be your first step in getting the help you need. Recovery Centers of America answers the phone and admits patients 24/7. And because safety is a top priority, all patients and staff are routinely tested for COVID-19. RCA's expert team of physicians and medical professionals will treat you with compassion and dignity and provide an evidence-based treatment plan that is custom-tailored to your specific needs. Recovery Centers of America at Devon and Lighthouse are local and in-network with insurance providers, so they're best-in-class inpatient and outpatient care, offered both in-person and via teletherapy, is affordable and accessible. Make this the year you conquer your addiction. Call today, 1-888-RECOVERY. That's 1-888-RECOVERY.
Chrissy is refinancing her home, so she shopped around for the lowest rate and found it at Amerisave.com, setting her up for a lifetime of savings. It's one decision she'll never regret, unlike wearing tap shoes to a surprise party.
Sorry, guys. Just trying to find the perfect hiding place.
Pretty regrettable, Chrissy. Unlike finding that low mortgage rate at Amerisave.com that's got you on your way to a lifetime of savings. Amerisave's rates won't be this low forever, so go to Amerisave.com now. Lower mortgage rates mean higher savings. Call 866-514-SAVE or visit Amerisave.com/licensing for cost information, terms, and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all states except New York. And MLS number 1168.
If you own a small business, you know how hard it can be to find new customers. Town Square has new tools that can help your business stand out and grow. Go to GetLocalCustomersNow.com for a free competitive analysis that will show you what other businesses are doing to find new customers, how you can do it too. One of the first businesses to sign up and receive $500 in free advertising on this station. Start growing your business today. Visit GetLocalCustomersNow.com. That's GetLocalCustomersNow.com.
South Jersey's play-by-play home for the Eagles,
Touchdown!
Sixers, and Flyers.
He scored!
97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD Millville, Atlantic City, a Town Square media station.
This is the Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN. Now, live inside the Matt Black Kia Studios, here's Mike Gill.
All right, the saga continues. Carson Wentz is still here, but what's going on behind the scenes? ESPN Sal Paolantonio set to join us here for a Sal Pal Thursday edition. Thanks to our guys, Johnny G, Burger Realty. Those guys, fantastic. Johnny G's been a great listener, a great friend for a while, and I know that Sal feels the same way because it gives us the ability to have these conversations. And I know that you said your wife wasn't going to let you do this, but Howie Roseman stepped in and probably said, hey, just give him one more week of conversations here with Mike Gill. Is that how it went?
Well, she set the deadline for 3 p.m. Thursday, which is today.
So
she said Friday, Saturday, Sunday, off limits. So here I am on the beautiful Mike Gill show, thanks to Johnny G and the Griner team at Bertha Realty in Ocean City. And I can't wait to come down to OC and have Johnny G set me up with a couple of summer rentals. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, the summertime is going to be interesting because we're going to have training camp and we're going to see possibly a quarterback controversy if they can't pull off this trade. It looked like it was imminent. Sal, what is happening now? Where's the leverage with Howie Roseman and the Philadelphia Eagles?
Yeah, let's first address this whole issue of it being imminent. I never felt like it was going to be imminent if the Eagles were going to demand a first-round pick. That's what I always thought. I thought that was pie in the sky. A lot of teams snickered at that, laughed at that. Because, the bottom line was, in order for the Rams to trade Goff to the Lions, they needed to give Detroit 3 picks, including two first-rounders, to swallow Goff's contract. And, Mike, Wentz's contract is worse than Goff's. Worse. More onerous. More salary cap unfriendly. So that's one. And two, anybody look at what happened last year? Goff did go to the playoffs. He did wind up in Green Bay with his football team. Wentz played a lot worse than Goff. So how is Wentz worth more than Goff?
That's a good question at this point. So you're saying, in other words, let me ask you this. If they had a first-round pick on the table, would they have already taken that deal?
Of course.
So,
you're so right, Mike Gill. You're so right. If the Colts had given him, I think the Colts have 21. If the Colts had said, we'll give you number 21, or the Bears said, we'll give you number 20, roll up the limousine at Wentz's house, all expenses paid, Philadelphia Eagles, and get him to the airport and get him out of town.
Yeah. That's kind of how it feels. So let me ask you this. Do you think that Roseman is playing this right, or do you think that he has overplayed his hand?
Well, Michael, clearly the answer is B, because they haven't traded him. And here's the problem with Wentz, right? Let's keep it real. We're talking on the radio to a Philly fan base. So let's keep it real. One, he played extremely poorly last year. Bottom of the league. He was worse than Sam Darnold. I'm going to say it again. He was worse than Sam Darnold in most categories. Worse than Sam Darnold. I mean, come on. So that's one. Two, he's coming off a concussion. He's got a bad knee. He's got a back that's dodgy. Three, he put it out there through whatever emissaries to people like Chris Mortensen and Adam Schefter, who are the best reporters in the business, that he had a fractured relationship with his coach and that he could never come back.
Right.
How is that the right way to handle your business?
And still hasn't spoken.
And the last G behind door number 4, here's the worst contract that any team has ever signed with a franchise quarterback. And we'll set you up for failure because of the salary cap hit you have to take in a year where we don't even know where the salary cap's going to be. So you got problems in 4 major areas.
Let me ask you this, Sal. Is there any way that you envision that they could put the toothpaste back in the tube and have him back here?
Right, so those are the 2 options that are available, and both of them are bad. Option number 1 is, as you just said, attempt to put the toothpaste back in the tube. Have you ever tried that?
Not easy.
Go up to your bathroom and inadvertently squirt some toothpaste into the sink, and it's your last tube of toothpaste, and you got to brush your teeth for a week because you're stuck in your house, and you've got to try to put it back in the tube. Go ahead, we'll wait. No, can't do it.
No, it's not very easy.
No, Mike. It's impossible. That's why we use that term. You can't put the genie back in the bottle, and you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. So that's option number 1. And option number 2 is you have to just give them away.
Okay, now there you go. Just give him away. Like, are teams at this point impatient? Are they saying, hey, at some point, you're going to buckle. You're going to give in. And then at that point, you're going to call us and we're going to give you less.
You know, in South Philly, we call that squadouche.
Oh, man. Well, I feel right now, squadouche is what we got. We got Wentz in one hand, no offer in the other.
Yeah, squadouche is what is on the table. And when that's the case, it's never good. So we don't want to make fun of this situation too much. It is pretty odd and unacceptable. And we are talking about the beloved football team of millions of people. And this is an untenable situation. It's untenable for Carson Wentz, too. Carson Wentz is not a bad person. He's not a bad guy. I've known him since the day he was drafted. He's earnest. He's tough. He wants to do the right thing. Has he been a little uncoachable and stubborn? Of course. Are all superstars that way? Most of them are. But he has obviously diminishing talent or diminishing effectiveness. Let's put it that way.
Now,
and
Sal,
that's proven.
Sal, my father is an attorney, so I have some attorney tendencies when I ask some of these questions, and this might be speculative, so you can object to answer if you would like. However, I would like to see if Howie Roseman pulled a Matt Klintak and just said, you know what? I'm stepping down. Would Wentz change his tune?
That's highly speculative. Move on to the next question. I'll be Drew Rosenhaus. How about that? Next question.
All right. I'm just, because people are in this thought of why you're trying to trade Wentz. If it's just like essentially they're saying Laurie's picking Roseman over Wentz, that the organization's taking the front office over this quarterback. And if you can't get what you want for this quarterback, how about trying to go a different route?
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that one. That's a tough one. But, right now they're in the middle of trying to figure out, okay, how do we fix this problem? So if they think they can bring Wentz back, how does that impact this locker room, which has already been impacted, not only by the upheaval of last year, but of the national conversation that they have been in conversations and trying to trade Carson Wentz. Yeah. And so when you are, that's really hard. It's hard to do. It's hard for the organization to save face, and it's hard for a quarterback like Wentz to save face, especially somebody cashing such a big check. We all know the dynamics of a locker room, some better than most. And I've been in a lot of locker rooms, and particularly the one, that's run by Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham and Zach Ertz and Jason Kelsey. I know that locker room very well. And I know what puts it together. I know what has divided it. And in order for Carson Wentz to come back and save face within the organization, there's going to have to be a lot of mended fences along the way. So that's one. And then two, more important than that is you talk to fans. I talk to fans. We are in touch with people who love the team. Mike, am I wrong in saying that most people that we talk to have moved on from Carson Wentz?
I was literally just about to follow up because a lot of these receivers are planning on working out with Jalen Hurts. John Clark reported this, that they're going to work out with Jalen Hurts. It feels that the organization has moved on from this. You wouldn't have your receivers going to work with the backup quarterback, right?
Yeah, no, it's a big problem. So the toothpaste option is not good.
No, certainly not good. Is the giving him away option, is that the most right now? Is it the highest option on your list? Is that if they're not getting what they want, they're just going to have to acquiesce to whatever offers the best of the crappy ones?
Yeah. Sometimes you can't get what you want. You have to just get what you need.
Little Rolling Stones for you here on the Sal Pal Thursday.
Yeah, I mean, are truer words ever spoken than about those words about this situation? They have to get what will. Whoa, wow! I'm going to use another big word for you: mollify the fan base, right? Because it is. A football team is part of the body politic. It's in the end a civic enterprise. Because you do have to convince fans to come out and fork over a lot of money and be passionately behind your team. passionately behind your team and financially support your team. So if your fan base thinks that you are willy-nilly wasting millions of dollars like you did on the Andrews brothers or on Kevin Cobb or on other players who made millions of dollars and didn't perform for you, then you lose the moral authority to be the leader of the civic enterprise. And I don't think I'm getting too heavy or deep here. I think people who are listening to this understand, because in Philadelphia, people have gone through distasteful disappointment years over their franchises just spending money on players who didn't come through, who didn't make whole on the promise to build a championship or win one. And so now you have a franchise quarterback who's the highest paid player in the history of the franchise, who is walking away from his contract because he doesn't feel like he's wanted, or there may be a trust lost.
Yeah. Well,
and people, no, Mike, you talk to fans. People are insulted by this situation, are they not? They feel like this is an insult because this is a proud, smart fan base that understands what's up. And you're not going to pull the wool over people's eyes. You've got to be real. And so far, the words that have been coming out of the organization are not real. And the promises are not kept. And so now you have to, if you want to give them away and sever ties with the young man and move on, because Jalen Hurts is working out with the wide receivers, as John Clark has reported, and because there is a fracture in the locker room, as Chris Mortensen has reported, then you have to be on the level with this fan base. And that's the thing that I think is lacking here. If they would just come out and say, listen, things didn't work out. We made a mistake. We paid the guy X amount of dollars. It didn't work out. We're sorry. But here's what we're getting in exchange. And we think we can move on from that. If they just say that and level with people, I think they'll be better off. Don't you agree with me?
Work for the Sixers. Hey, we're going to lose for a couple of seasons. Jump on board and grow with us.
Yeah.
What was it?
And you know what?
Together we'll build.
I'll tell you something. After the Super Bowl, I was down in Tampa. As you know, I covered the Bucs during this Super Bowl run. Went to Washington, went to New Orleans, went to Green Bay in the middle of a pandemic. Hard to do. Went to Tampa. Easy to do. To cover the Bucs. And after the game, I was on the phone with Bruce Arians because you can't interview them one-on-one. And I'm on the phone with Bruce Arians, and I said, okay, Bruce, tell me what it's all about. Let me know what you think. And he said, Sal, we had a good team. All we needed was a change in leadership. We needed a leader. We needed a change in culture. And I needed to get out of the way. And you know what? I needed to get out of the way. And you look at the Sixers, and they brought in Daryl Morey and Doc Rivers, and they got a change in leadership, and they got a change in culture, and pretty much the same roster, a couple of tweaks here and there. And lo and behold, they're number one. They're at the top of the Eastern Conference right now. And they're going to go to the finals and play probably the Lakers. I don't think Utah's going to get there. I think they're probably going to play the Lakers in the finals. And in 1 year, by just changing the GM and the head coach, a leader and a change in culture, they did it. And that's really what it's all about.
And if that happens and LeBron's in the locker room, I'll make sure that I film it this time.
And if we're in the locker room with LeBron, we'll know that the world is right side up again.
That is true. All right, Sal Paolantonio, kind enough to move to a Thursday because his wife said if he did Friday that he would be ungats. Done. All right, Sal, well, we'll catch up when something happens. Draft's on the way, free agency,
yep.
And you take care, my friend.
Listen, Mike, I want to say thank you to you, Johnny G at Berger Realty, to all the listeners of this great station. I've gotten tremendous feedback all along the Jersey Shore and beyond, Delaware, everywhere. People listen to your show. People love your show. People respect what you do. I'm happy to be on the air with you. I think you do a tremendous job. And we will talk soon for sure. But I'm going to take a little bit of a break.
Yep.
And, listen, Carson Wentz gets traded. I'll go to Mrs. Paolantonio and I'll say, listen, I got to call Mike.
Tell her I'll send her a dozen donuts.
You better make that roses, brother.
Take care, man.
See ya.
All right. He, like all guests, appear to be the boardwalk on the hotline. There you go. Sal Pal Friday or Sal Pal Thursday, because I will not be here tomorrow on the Friday. So he was kind enough to acquiesce his schedule to my schedule. A lot of interesting stuff there. Very passionate Sal Pal today.
Yeah, he was great. Always is.
Hey, I want to tell you about my friends at PropSwap.com. Luke Pergandy and the guys at PropSwap came up with this great idea, bros, where you can walk into a casino, buy a futures ticket. Let's say right now. All right, let me give you an example. The Eagles are 60-1 to win the Super Bowl next year. But let's say Nick Sirianni comes in here, and all of a sudden, much like when Chip Kelly was here, he turns this thing around right away. And those odds go up and up and up and up, and they're like 10-1. I could take that ticket at 60-1 and sell it at PropSwap. Let's say they get into the playoffs and it moves up to 7-1. Well, I have the ticket that says it was 60-1, and I can sell that for whatever price I want at PropSwap.com. You know what's a great ticket to have right now? If you bought Joel Embiid to be the MVP at the start of the season, you know what that is right now? It's like 4-1. You know what it was before? Like 25-1. Sell that ticket at PropSwap and let people bid on it. See how much you can get for your ticket at PropSwap.com, where America buys and sells sports bets. PropSwap.com and the PropSwap app. All right, we got a lot to get into. Great stuff from Sal Pal. This is the Sports Bash. Watch the show live at 97.3 ESPN. By the way, that Sal Pal segment had a record number of viewers for the show all at one time. That's pretty nice of you people out there. Stick around, though, because we got plenty more reacting to that, including Michael Kaskey-Blomain inside the Sixers coming up.
We never stop talking Eagles and NFL. It's football at 4 every day at 4 p.m. on the Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
This month, let me offer you some presidential advice. Leave your dollar in your wallet when you get 0% APR financing from Matt Blatt Kia.
Matt Blatt Kia wants to get you out of that old car you hate. Come in today or visit us online and get the credit you deserve. 0% APR financing available for up to 60 months on new 2021 Kia Sportage, K5, and Forte models. Or take $4,000 off MSRP on new 2020 Kia Niros in stock. Plus Matt Blatt Kia in Toms River and Egg Harbor Township wants your trade, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth. Don't forget, you can't make a mistake with our 4-day love it or leave it return policy.
It's gotta be a Matt Blatt Kia.
Offers with approved Tier 1 and 2 credit through Kia Motors Finance. Not all will qualify. 0% based on 1516 per 1,000 borrowed. Go to mattblattkianj.com for complete details. Expires 3/4/2021. Matt Blatt Kia, 6211 Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township. And now on Route 37 in Toms River.
I'm Harvey from Bernie Robbins Jewelers. Love makes one do crazy things. Take me. I'm having a 50% off sale, a crazy Cupid 50% off Valentine's sale with interest-free financing, something we haven't done in years, featuring great Valentine's gifts and engagement diamonds at 50% off with interest-free financing. Shop BernieRobbins.com or go crazy the old-fashioned way and visit one of our stores. The 50% off Crazy Cupid sale ends February 13th. Why the 13th? If you haven't done it by then, I can't help you.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Sure, we can help you knock that oil change right off your list. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Castrol Edge full synthetic motor oil and an STP extended life oil filter for just $29.99, plus a $10 bonus reward if you're an AutoZone Rewards member. Not a member? We can sign you up fast, right here in store or on AutoZone.com. Getting the job done just got easier. Terms at AutoZone.com/rewards. Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents and Doug.
Okay, class, let's bump it up to 9.
Come on, Limu, keep pedaling. We got to build our endurance to let more people know that Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance, so you only pay for what you need.
Pick up the pace, bird legs.
Hey, don't talk to Limu like that.
I'm not, I'm talking to you.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Get a customized quote at libertymutual.com.
Okay, sports fans, it's time to get into basketball mode. Football's behind us, but we are making a fortune right now in pro basketball at wagerpro.com. Call this toll-free number right now, and I've got the TNT parlay tonight absolutely free on a 30-second recorded message. Call 800-499-3733. That's 800-499-3733. That's 800-499-FREE. The point spread winner of tonight's matchup between Miami and Houston, and the second matchup as well, Portland, Philadelphia. Guys, we're going 2-0. They're both nationally televised. We're going to make big, and I mean big money on both games. Call now. They're absolutely free, and they're on a 30-second recording. Call 800-499-3733. That's 800-499-3733. And be sure to visit wagerpro.com.
Beachcombing, baking cookies, learning French. Aren't these what you'd rather be doing than thinking about your Medicare prescriptions? Well, Walgreens is here to help you get back to it with convenient refill and pickup options, expert pharmacists to answer all your questions, and Medicare copays as low as $0. Zero. Which is also the number of cares in the world you'll have as you stroll the beach, eating cookies and speaking French. Oh la la. Walgreens.
$0 copays apply to Tier 1 generic drugs and select plans where Walgreens is a preferred pharmacy.
Tax refunds are great for fresh starts, especially in 2021. Refresh your ride with your refund at Mako and make the year one you'll never forget. Head to Mako.com to get a free estimate today. Better get Mako.
The Sports Bash with Mike Gill and Brodes on 97.3 ESPN, the free mobile app. And now you can watch the show live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter at 97.3ESPN.com.
All right, Mike and Brodes here. Don't forget Sixers tonight. A little late start, 10 o'clock in Portland. They played the Blazers like 2 weeks ago and got bombed against like a half-ass Portland team.
I remember.
Yeah, that wasn't fun.
No, it was not.
Time for Inside the Sixers. Michael Kaskey-Blomain, CBS Sports, covers the Sixers and the NBA. Set to join us here on the Boardwalk Honda Hotline. Inside the Sixers is brought to you by Matt Blatt Nissan today. The all-new Matt Blatt Nissan is now open on the Black Horse Pike in Egg Harbor Township next to Home Depot, online at mattblattnissan.com. There he is. MKB is in the house as we get you ready for the Sixers and the Blazers. Inside the Sixers with us. What's going on, MKB?
What's up, fellas?
All is well, man. And I know these late-night games a little tough as we get a little older here, but what happened when they played the Blazers the last time? What did you think happened? Because the Blazers had nobody there. Was that just a scheduled loss, in your opinion? What did you see in that night?
Yeah, to me, Mike, it seemed like they just kind of overlooked a Portland team that was, really shorthanded. Like you said, they were without Dame. Obviously, they've been without CJ, been without Nurkic. I think it was just an example of, a team kind of looking forward to. They had the Nets game coming up after that. I think they kind of just glossed over the Portland team. And a lot of times in a game like that, you get guys on a team that, don't usually get big minutes or don't get tons of opportunity. And they, try to take advantage of the opportunity that they do get. And I think that's, pretty much what happened. Portland had some guys stepping up, Gary Trent, Anthony Simons, Cantor, obviously, that had big games, and they kind of just caught the Sixers by surprise.
You wrote at CBS Sports about Seth Curry and the pace that he is on right now. And just give us a little insight on how important you feel he is to what the ceiling of this team can be.
I think he's crucial, Mike, and I think the stats don't really even quite do it justice, because if you just look at the raw numbers, the Sixers are, right about where they were last season in terms of team three-point field goal percentage, both in terms of how many threes they're making a game and their shooting percentage as a team. But, Seth, just his gravity, having him on the floor is so big, I think, for both Ben and obviously Joel. And I think it's a huge part of the reason that we're seeing, Joel have the monster season that he's been having so far. 2 years ago when they had that run and lost to the Raptors in Game 7, that was, probably the best that we'd seen Joel up to that point. And it's, we've said it over and over again, but to me, it's just as simple as surrounding him with players that compromise and maximize his skill set is, it's the way to go. Seth is a guy that defenders can't double off of. And if they do, you're leaving, a prolific shooter open. And I think just having him on the floor, even if it doesn't necessarily translate directly to 3-point team percentage, I think just having him out there has opened things up tremendously for both Ben and Joel.
Yeah, and I think I also saw you tweet yesterday about the Mavericks as well and how they're playing with and without him. So why don't you touch on that and kind of, you can also use that to defend how great he really is and his presence being felt.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. That's a great point. Watching the Mavericks this season, they're a team that I had coming into the season as not necessarily a top tier title contender in the West, but, one of those teams right there that could make a deep playoff run, give, a team like the Lakers or the Clippers a run for their money. And they just have not lived up to, those expectations so far this season. And, last year they had the best offense in NBA history with a offensive rating of almost 116. They were 10th in the league in team 3-point percentage. This year, the offensive rating is way down, and they're dead last in the league in 3-point team shooting percentage. And obviously not all of that can be attributed to Seth Curry. Luka's been having a down season shooting. Porzingis was out, and he's having a little trouble getting back into his groove. But a huge part of that, I think, is the fact that Seth, he's not out there to spread the floor, just like he's doing for the Sixers. He opened things up for Luka last year, gave him the paint to work with where defenders couldn't come in and provide help. And if they did, he was, standing there for Luka to kick it out to and knock down shots. And I think, his absence in Dallas is exactly what he's bringing to Philadelphia, that floor spacing and that gravity so that their star players have more room to operate. I think he was, kind of a piece that Dallas might have undervalued. As good as Josh Richardson is, I think they felt that, the trade-off of getting some defense in exchange for the shooting would work out for them for the better, and it just hasn't. And on the other side, obviously, the Sixers are, much better off with Seth in the starting lineup as opposed to Josh.
Yeah, I was going to say, what was the thinking that the Mavs made that deal for? I mean, you're looking over here thinking, man, you gave up one of the top 3-point shooters in the whole league, in a league that's craving for it, for a guy who was very inconsistent.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, I think they undervalued Seth a little bit. And I think they looked at, their offense that they had last year, historically great. They had guys, obviously Luka playing at an elite level, other guys that were coming in, knocking down shots, Tim Hardaway, Porzingis, Finney-Smith, Jalen Brunson, guys around him. But, I think that they thought that they needed the defense that Josh would bring and kind of undervalued how much they would miss Seth's offense. And, Josh is a good player. He's a solid player. But he's not a guy that's, we saw in Philly last year. He's not necessarily a guy that's going to come in and elevate your team on either end of the floor. And I think they are a little bit better defensively this year than they were last year with Josh. But overall, just the drop off on the offensive end is, it's huge. And I think that's definitely one of their biggest problems so far this season.
MKB, Michael Kaskey-Blomain's with us here on the Sports Bash Live on 97.3 ESPN. You tweeted or retweeted this stat about Ben Simmons, the lack of shooting. Simmons has an incredible impact on the Sixers this season, and it talks about the 3-point percentages with him on the court. So, kind of get into that a little bit about what people might not understand about how Simmons gets these guys these open looks and the importance of him, even if he's not shooting and or scoring.
Yeah, absolutely, Mike. It's it's something that he's obviously done at an elite level since he entered the league, and it's just his ability to draw and collapse a defense. He's especially in transition, but even in the half court, people like to nitpick and say that he struggles in the half court. But this year, especially with some of the sets that Doc has installed, I think he's doing an excellent job of getting into the paint and collapsing a defense. And we all know he has the elite passing ability. He's been in the top 5 in assists, basically since he entered the NBA. And he just is able to get into that paint and collapse the defense. And this year specifically, like we were just talking about, he has, so many options that they've, spread around the floor around him. Obviously, Tobias is knocking down his shots. Seth, Danny, you bring in, Korkmaz, you bring in Shake Milton, these other guys that are all capable of knocking down threes. And I think you can really see how Ben's ability to kind of just, get into the painted area and have the eyes of the defense on him. And then he has the vision to kick it out. And it's, you see it more. It's one of those things that maybe because his stats aren't necessarily jumping off the page in terms of his points or his assists per game, but you see it in games where he's not playing, like the game they lost think it was Detroit a couple weeks ago where he wasn't playing and their offense was really struggling at certain times. He just generates so many looks for his teammates, and it's central to what the Sixers have done, in the past, and it's huge to, what they've been doing this year.
By the way, if you couldn't see those numbers in the tweet, bros, before you get to your question here, when Simmons is off the floor, they shoot 29% from three. It's the worst in the league. When he's on the floor, they shoot almost 41%. That's second best in the NBA.
Yeah.
There's his impact, even if he's not scoring.
Yeah, definitely. And you hit on Tobias playing this way, and it definitely takes away the stress of Ben Simmons needing to be that scorer like he was in years past. Is it time to believe that this is who he is?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's, this is who the Sixers thought they were getting when they first traded for him. And it's something that he's shown, flashes of it at times since he's been here. He had some good games last year. But to me this year, the main thing is just the consistency that he's playing with. It's not like, last year I think you would see some games he'd come out and drop, 20, 24, 26 points, but then he'd follow it up, with a couple of 12, 14, 16-point performances. And this year, I think Doc has him playing, at such a level of comfort and confidence where, he knows he has the green light to shoot it. He's not thinking as much. He's just letting the game, come and flow to him. And I think that's, obviously when he's at his best. And I was one of those people, I wasn't skeptical, but there was, people were saying, Doc had Tobias playing his best ball in LA. Would that be able to translate when he came to Philly? And after what we saw last year, I think it was fair to have some questions about if we would see that Tobias. But, it seems to be as simple of, Doc basically empowering Tobias to say, like, hey, I know what you're capable of, and this is what we need you to do. It's not not a passive situation. Doc has pretty much said, like, you're our second option behind Joel, and basically the first option is a perimeter guy because, especially down in close situations at the end of games, it's tough sometimes to run an offense through, a big guy in the post. He needs an entry pass. They can double on him before he gets the ball. And in those situations, we've seen Tobias, obviously the play that stands out the most is the game winner in that Lakers game. But he's made a lot of shots like that over the course of the season where they've needed a bucket, and he's been the guy to get it. So, yeah, I really do think that now that there's, roster around him and the rest of the players that fit, and he has I'm not saying that Brett wasn't instilling the confidence in him, but he's clearly comfortable with Doc Rivers' system and Doc, how Doc uses him. And to me, it's a situation where there's no reason not to think that he can't continue to play this way moving forward.
One of my biggest concerns with this team is the six-man Shake Milton coming off the bench. Does there need to be an upgrade there? And is Kyle Lowry maybe a name that intrigues you?
Oh, man, I would love Kyle Lowry. And I do think there needs to be an upgrade, not necessarily to Shake specifically, but to the bench unit as a whole. I think the starting unit's great, but we've seen, as soon as Joel goes out of some games or if Ben's out of the lineup, they struggle to score at times. And I think there's, they have a lot of great specialty players. Matisse, showed his value just the other night guarding De'Aaron Fox down the stretch of that game in Sacramento. Korkmaz, obviously, we know what we get from him. Milton has, shown that he can come in and score. But I do think they would benefit from, another reliable bench player that can come in and give them some buckets, whether that's, a combo guard or a stretch four or something like that. I think that would be, a great addition for the team. And Kyle Lowry, I mean, that's obviously would be a huge upgrade. I don't know what it would take to get him from Toronto and if, they'd be willing to do so. But if you bring him in, you're probably talking about, maybe an adjustment to the starting lineup. I don't know if he would be a guy that would come off the bench. Maybe you start him and then bring Danny off the bench or Seth off the bench, which would, in turn bolster the bench unit. But, from everything I've garnered, it's definitely a situation where the Sixers aren't satisfied in terms of, their entire roster. I think we all expect there to be at least some sideline moves moving forward between now and the trade deadline or the postseason where they look to add, another, one or two more high caliber guys that can come in and complement the, the starting unit that they already have.
CBS Sports NBA writer Michael Kaskey-Blomain covers the Sixers as well. And what's your take on what's happened with Maxey and his role in the rotation?
I think it's kind of to be expected. Mikey's obviously tapered off since they've gotten their full complement of players back from the COVID protocols. I think obviously he did a great job of taking advantage of those minutes when, he stepped up into the starting role. But it's a situation where it's he's a rookie, and it's pretty difficult for a rookie to come into a team that's in championship contention and play, reliable, consistent minutes. I think it's fair to expect for the rest of the season that he's going to have, kind of his minutes aren't going to be the most consistent. He's clearly not, the sixth man necessarily. I think they'd be probably happy to get in another, a veteran point guard to, bring in to kind of play, behind Ben or with Ben sometimes as Maxey kind of learns the game. I don't know if there's full confidence in him, from the coaching staff in terms of, is he a guy that you can rely on this year in the postseason to make the right play and do things like that? So, I think Doc is going to try to continue to get him minutes where, get in where he fit in, kind of try to get him opportunities because he's certainly, going to be part of the team moving forward. They definitely didn't want to trade him. Obviously, in the Harden trade, they're high on him for sure moving forward. But I think just the fact that he's so young still, he's 20 years old, a rookie. There's the expectations for what he can do. In the regular season is one thing, but to rely on him in the postseason, I think there is a little bit of skepticism within the organization that they might want to bolster that spot a little bit.
Michael Kaskey-Blomain at The Real Mike KB. And, of course, he, like all guests, appeared via the Boardwalk Honda Hotline. He was our guest for today's Inside the Sixers. You can watch them tonight taking on the Portland Trailblazers, 10 o'clock. Right here on 97.3 ESPN. All right, MKB. I hope to see you soon, man.
You too, fellas. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. As we will talk to MKB again down the road. The Sixers tonight, right here on 97.3 ESPN. And, of course, the Sixers play this Blazers team that last time whipped them.
Yeah.
I feel like the Blazers always give that. Like, there's certain teams that you get matched up with. They feel like the Western Conference ones like that. You're just like, they always beat you. Portland, I feel like it's one of those that are in the mix that just always have your number.
Yeah, no, you're right. I'm happy that this is the last 10 o'clocker in this West Coast trip. So I think the next one's at 3, and then that Utah game's 9, right?
Yeah, they got the Jazz on Saturday at 3, and the Suns Saturday at 3, then the Jazz on Monday at 9. Then they're back home against Houston. That's a 7:30 game on Wednesday night next week. And they got the Bulls on next Friday. So that's a little look at the schedule coming up for the 76ers. Sports Bash Live, 97.3 ESPN. A little inside the Sixers there. When we come back, we'll get into our headlines today. There's a story out here that I got to tell you everybody about. And I can see you even doing this as like a spoof. Like, I think you might try to do this just to show that this young lady's wrong.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Back with that next. Headlines. Don't go away. Sports Bash Live, 97.3 ESPN. Don't forget, watch the show at 97.3ESPN.com. Hey, everybody, it's Mike Gill from the Sports Bash, and you know I've been telling you about the Crazy Cupid Valentine's Day sale at my guys at Bernie Robbins Jewelers. It's the first company-wide sale that's half off in 15 years. Harvey is with me from Bernie Robbins Jewelers.
The good news is, Mike, it's right now through Saturday, the 13th, just in time for Valentine's Day. It's in all 4 of our stores right here in Somers Point, New Jersey, in Malton, New Jersey, Villanova, Pennsylvania, and Newtown, Bucks County. This Crazy Cupid 50% off Valentine's sale. First of all, it has interest-free financing. We have timed it perfectly for Valentine's Day. We have not done this for years. And as you know, Bernie Robbins Jewelers is a toy store for adults. And Valentine's Day is the best time to get things.
Well, I was in there. I got a chance to look at some of the beautiful watches for the guys. But if the guys want to get something for the ladies, Harvey, you've been in business since 1962. In your experience, give me something that is the best gift for the guys to get for the ladies out there.
First of all, diamonds. You are never wrong with diamonds. And we have fabulous diamonds. They start from under $500. And again, this is with interest-free financing, so you're not going to break the bank. We also have watches for women. We have great necklaces. All of our designers are on sale. Anything that your young woman would want, from earrings to bracelets, we have it. And diamond engagement rings. Don't forget, guys, it's all about commitment. Is that right, Mike?
If you're thinking about proposing, it's the perfect time to save on those diamonds and engagement rings. You're right, Harvey. So tell people where they can learn more about the store and the sale.
Go to our website, BernieRobbins.com/Cupid. Our online store has been redesigned to make buying easier than ever. But of course, we want to see you in person. That's what we love to do. We've taken, all of the safety precautions, so the stores are safe. They're beautiful. They're all fully stocked. And we can't wait to see you.
Think about that, guys. Sunday's Valentine's Day. It's the Crazy Cupid sale going on right now at Bernie Robbins Jewelers. It's the first company-wide sale, half off in 15 years. So you better get there because you don't know when this will happen again. Harvey, we will talk to you soon. And guys, do something nice for the ladies out there and get to Bernie Robbins Jewelers.
Are you one of the millions of Americans who experience occasional bloating, gas, or abdominal discomfort? Join the Align Healthy Gut Team Up and see how healthy your gut can feel. Align contains a quality probiotic strain developed by gastroenterologists. It adds more good bacteria to your gut to naturally help soothe your occasional digestive upsets with continued daily usage. This is the time to join the Align Healthy Gut Team Up from the #1 doctor-recommended probiotic brand. Sign up at alignprobiotics.com.
These days, it's okay to do some things halfway, like wearing your pajama bottoms on a work call. But managing your prescriptions shouldn't be one of them. That's why CVS has a proprietary search tool to find ways that may help lower your prescription costs, and will deliver them for free. No wonder CVS customers are better than most at staying on prescriptions, which tends to make you healthier. Come in or call today and get a free prescription savings review at CVS. Savings vary. Not all patients eligible for savings. Delivery restrictions apply. Visit cvs.com for details.
More time at home means more washing, drying, cooking, and cleaning at home, and more wear and tear on old appliances. But it's the perfect time to save on new ones at the Home Depot. For savings on the latest appliances, and right now, free delivery. From the kitchen to the laundry room, that upgrade is well within reach, and closer than ever. Save on top appliances, now at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. U.S. only while supplies last. Free delivery on major appliances, $396 or more, valid through February 24th.
If you own a small business, you know how hard it can be to find new customers. Town Square has new tools that can help your business stand out and grow. Go to getlocalcustomersnow.com for a free competitive analysis that will show you what other businesses are doing to find new customers and how you can do it too with Town Square. Be one of the first businesses to sign up and receive $500 in free advertising on this station. Start growing your business today. Visit getlocalcustomersnow.com. That's getlocalcustomersnow.com.
Now, back to the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN.
All right, time for our headlines. We'll take a look at some of the top stories that are going on right now. I got a story that's left me perplexed. We'll get into that in just a second.
Yeah, just as perplexed as this UFC 258 deal that DraftKings is giving us. DraftKings is giving you 100-1 odds that either fighter in the title fight will land a punch. That is right, 100-1 odds. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use promo code 973 when you sign up. Must be 21 or older, New Jersey only. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
So we'll get into the headlines. So I don't know if you saw this or not, but there is this girl who is now known as Gorilla Glue Girl. Have you seen this?
I have not.
She is
You thought I was going to do this?
What?
You said that you thought I would do something like this.
Well, I could see you trying it.
Why would I try
After you hear this girl's story.
Okay, I have not heard her story.
So if you're watching the video, we have the video up on the screen. This is Gorilla Glue Girl. So apparently, I'll let her kind of tell the story, and you can kind of listen to what ended up happening to this young lady. And then you can tell me afterwards if you feel bad for her or not, okay?
Okay.
Hey, y'all. For those of y'all that know me, know my hair has been like this for about a month now. It's not by choice. No, it's not by choice. When I do my hair, I like to, finish it off with a little Got to Be glue spray, just to keep it in place. Well, I didn't have any more Got to Be glue spray, so I used this Gorilla Glue Spray. Bad idea. Y'all, look, my hair, it don't move. You hear what I'm telling you? It don't move. I've washed my hair 15 times and it don't move. Stiff wear. Woo! My hair. So I'm going to tell y'all like this. If you ever run out of Got to Be glue spray, don't ever use this unless you want your hair to be like that.
I don't feel bad for her.
No?
Well, why would you think that that's a good idea?
I wouldn't.
Exactly. So
let me tell you something. She's suing.
She's suing?
Because on the label it doesn't say anything about not putting in your hair.
Do you think she has? You said your dad's a lawyer. Does she have a case here?
Not this type of law.
No, he's not big on the Gorilla Glue hairspray.
Apparently, it
concept.
says like don't put in your mouth. Like we need to now have that on products because people might ingest things if they're told to do so.
Does she have a case?
You can't put Gorilla Glue in your hair, dude. She's been to the hospital. She went to the emergency room to try to get the glue out of her hair.
Did they get it out?
No.
Oh, that way.
There's a doctor who is now offered to basically cut it off of her scalp.
How much did she put in this?
Well, I'm imagining, like she said, I had this hairspray, and she usually sprays the hair down to keep it down. I guess it gets a little frizzy if you don't, So she must have sprayed over the top of her hair pretty good, and then kind of slicked it back. Because if you weren't watching the show live on the video, you couldn't see what she looked like. But her hair on the top is completely slicked back, and she had this long ponytail down the side.
Do you think that she has a case because it doesn't say don't put it in your hair that she might be able to actually win something?
God,
here?
I hope not. God, I hope not.
Now,
I hope
offended
that we don't have to get to the point where you have to be told that you shouldn't put Gorilla Glue in your hair.
I would agree with you, but I'm offended because you thought I would do something like that.
I didn't say you would willingly do it, but that you would say, oh, I think I could get it out of my hair.
No way would I do that. Maybe Josh.
No, I don't think Josh would do that.
Why wouldn't he do that? But I would do that.
Yeah, because you would say, oh, this girl, she can get it out of her hair. She's just looking for attention. Watch, I'll put the glue in my hair, and I guarantee I come back tomorrow,
Now
and that glue will be
That's
out.
a Schweim statement. Now, that would be Schweim. What you just laid out, not me. Schweim would say that.
What are you talking about?
Schweim would be able to think he'd get that out of his hair.
I think
Blue
Schweim
end,
would
he'd be like, I wear the blue end. I could do anything.
Wouldn't put it past him that he would at least try to put it in.
Yeah,
his
exactly.
hair.
We're on to something here.
No, but I mean, so my girlfriend showed me that video last night, and I must have, I've probably seen it 100 times.
I'm just blown away because there would never be a scenario where I think instead of hairspray, I'm going to use Gorilla Glue spray on my head. If anything, this just shows you, if I'm Gorilla Glue, do I look at this as a positive? Like, look how strong my product is. You need something fixed. You get your ass out there and get Gorilla Glue.
Right, that the glue is so strong that your hair will never move. She said she's had her hair like that for a month.
That's insane. What's do the showers feel like?
Well, she's been trying to get it out. Apparently, she went to the hospital, and they tried to do something to get it out, and it burned her scalp.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm blown away. I'm shocked that someone would even attempt that. That's the disconnect for me. I want to know the thought process.
Well, because she said she used Got to Be Glued, so she must say, oh, I used Got to Be Glued. Maybe I'll just use Gorilla Glue.
And she's going to win money because that thought process.
By God, I hope she does.
No, she is. Oh, she is. There's going to be a way. We need a lawyer to call in to give us some information.
If you Google Gorilla Glue girl, there's all sorts of updates and videos, and she's in the hospital.
I saw her just now. I searched it on Twitter, and she's laying in the hospital bed with her head dangling off the table.
Oh, there's an update. 9 hours ago, she finally got the glue out of her hair.
Come on.
Yep.
Is she bald?
I see on TMZ. She got the glue out.
So TMZ has the report, huh? It's a pretty big work out of them.
Great. But she's been getting hammered everywhere. People have been ripping her.
Well, I mean, she deserves it.
You don't feel bad for her?
No, I don't.
What do you got?
All right. Oh, I had the list right here. Okay, here it is. Tom Brady. Tom Brady being drunk in Tampa Bay. What are your thoughts on the videos, on everything? How about him throwing the Lombardi trophy from boat to boat during the celebration? What if that ended up in the water? How many guys are going to dive in to go grab it? I just want to get your opinion on the drunk Tom Brady we
I saw this video yesterday, all of a sudden, you just saw him kind of. Tom Brady's allowed to be drunk. He won the Super Bowl. What the hell do I care? Why would that be anything?
Well,
Tom Brady
Tom
was drunk.
Brady.
He's at a parade. He won the Super Bowl. He's the MVP. Why would I think anything otherwise?
Well, here's why. It's just the personality behind Tom Brady. For example,
what do we think he doesn't drink?
No, we know he drinks, but Jason Kelce drunk is different than seeing Carson Wentz buckled or Nick Foles buckled, right? I mean, if you think about Carson Wentz just hammered and Kelsey hammered, that's two different perspectives. Tom Brady falls in that category of, he's drunk. Like, it's just not, it doesn't tie to who he is.
I guess, but
how many beers do you think he had? That was a poll I put up yesterday. 1, 2, 10 plus, or 6? Like, what category of beers
10
is Tom Brady? You think he went just 10?
See, I went to college with a guy who played in the NFL, and he was pretty good for a short amount of time there, Mark Bolger. The dude could fling them back like you've never seen before.
But Tom doesn't scream like a fling them back guy.
No, that's the thing. Bolger was the most unassuming guy ever. Like, if you met him, you would never know he was the starting quarterback of the football team. You would never know he even cared about football. You would never even know that he wanted to go out and have a beer. Yet he'd sit in that corner and throw back like 25 Budweisers. He could pound them, dude.
Now, the responses to my poll, people thought Tom Brady, because I said how many beers did he have? People assumed Tom Brady was a White Claw guy.
See, I feel like Brady's one of them guys that can just fire them down.
Because he can do everything.
Yep. Just sit in the corner, give me a Bud Light.
Yeah, like he probably had 3 30s.
Yeah, I don't think he's going like craft beer style. I think he's just classic.
Like a Miller? What do you think? Coors,
Bud Red,
Miller?
Bud Heavy.
You think he's just a Budweiser guy, huh?
Bud Heavy.
Just loves the
I
country?
wouldn't even be surprised if he was like, give me a Bush.
Bush Light.
No, not light.
Oh, yeah, just a standard Bush.
Yep, because there's like one thing. His body's a temple. When it comes to his beer, he wants the good stuff.
And that's the
like
good
last
stuff?
night, I'm watching. See, I've watched Back to the Future like 500 times.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in a while.
It was on last night. But you forget in the beginning of the movie when Biff gets into the car accident and he's there with Marty's father. And he's like, I come all the way over here and all you had to offer me is light beer. Pulls out the old can of Miller Lite.
So that's how you think of Tom right now? Like you win
Yep.
the Super Bowl and he wants that good beer and you're going Bush on me?
Yep. He's like, no, he's just sitting there saying, give me the cheapie. Because I'm sure with all the money Brady makes, I'm sure he still is watching his cash.
Well, why don't you check your app that you do your beer stuff? What if there was a Tom Brady account? What's the app you use to check out your beers?
Untapped.
Yeah, maybe he's got an Untapped profile. Can you imagine?
Well, Untapped wouldn't necessarily be if you're drinking Budweiser.
No, I know that. Maybe I could see him being a craft beersman.
I don't think so. Brady doesn't come off to me as a craft beersman.
Fair point.
Yeah.
All right, you got one, or you want me to toss one your way?
I will toss one your way. I do have one, actually. I got a couple here.
Oh,
got a couple here. How about this? We talked about Russell Wilson earlier in the show. Reports are coming out now that teams have continued to call the Seahawks about his availability.
It's just hard for me to believe that this is real. That it's really going to be to the point where you're moving on from Russell Wilson. Doesn't that seem very insane to you?
Not if people keep calling.
You can call all you want. Doesn't mean I'm making the move.
Well, I'm just saying, if the right move's there, knock your stuff. Like, how old's Wilson now?
He's got time left in the tank.
I'm not saying he doesn't. I'm just saying he's 32 years old.
Yeah, but if
Do you
quarterbacks
say,
play to
we're
40.
going to move you a year too early, then holding on to him a year too late?
Well, you got more than one. The problem is I think he got 5.
He's 32. He plays that style where he runs around. He takes a lot of hits. Maybe you say, you know what? He's not happy. We're not happy. Maybe it's just done.
If the Eagles did that, if the Eagles had Russell Wilson and let him go at 32, I couldn't support that.
Me neither. I'm just not, especially this version. He had 40 touchdowns this year and 13 interceptions. I mean, he was fantastic.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, I had Russell Wilson as my top 5 quarterback 5 years ago. So I'm not getting rid of him. But according to Tom Pelissero of the NFL Network, teams are calling about him. Now, they haven't received any indication that Seattle is, quote, in any way inclined to trade their quarterback. But the calls have persisted. Somebody might just throw you a offer you can't refuse. Somebody gives me enough money. Guess what? I'm getting up out of here. Sports Bash.
It's Sixers basketball tonight on 97.3 ESPN with the voice of the 76ers, Tom McGinnis, calling all the exciting play-by-play action.
Harris throws it away. Simmons with a steal. Simmons down the lane. Oh, yeah. Right down Broad Street with a two-hand jam.
The Sixers are in Portland to face the Blazers. Tonight, coverage begins at 10 p.m. Philadelphia 76ers basketball on your radio home of the Sixers in South Jersey, 97.3 ESPN.
Health update with Robin Stola. Learn more, live better. We've all seen the commercials for probiotic yogurt to improve our digestive health. So what are probiotics and why do we need them? Well, our gut is filled with bacteria, most of it harmless, but things like medicine, stress, and diet can disturb the natural balance of this bacteria. Certain probiotics help maintain this balance by adding good bacteria to our body. In fact, some evidence suggests that adding probiotics as part of an overall balanced diet can help support our immune and digestive system. It's also linked to improved weight loss, better skin, and a reduced risk of many illnesses. Probiotic foods include yogurt, sauerkraut, and kimchi, to name a few. Taking care of the healthy bacteria that reside in our body may be one of the most important steps we can take to improve our health. I'm Robin Stoloff for Health Update.
Health Update with Robin Stoloff, empowering you to live a healthier life.
It's a new year and an all-new Matt Blatt Nissan. Matt Blatt Nissan on the Black Horse Pike in Egg Harbor Township next to Home Depot. Help us celebrate when you get out of that old car, truck, or SUV and into a brand new Nissan. 2020 Nissan Kicks. $4,000 off MSRP on in-stock units or get 0% APR financing for 60 months on new in-stock Nissan Kicks, Sentra, or Ultima models. Plus, Matt Blatt Nissan has fast-track checkout available online at mattblattnissan.com. Our non-touch delivery and electronic paperwork ensures your safety comes first. We want to help with your credit approval today so you can drive a new Nissan with 0% APR financing. Matt Blatt Nissan on the Black Horse Pike in Egg Harbor Township or online at mattblattnissan.com. Unapproved credit. Negative equity will be refinanced at the new vehicle. All factory rebates and incentives to dealer. 0% APR financing based on 1516 for 1,000 borrowed. Offers can't be combined. Call 888-731-5030 for all the details. It's on at Matt Blatt Nissan on the Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township.
Oh yeah, it's on at Matt Blatt Nissan.
Message from your neighbors and friends at First Bank. We've been serving residents and businesses of Sea Isle City and the surrounding communities for more than 130 years. Today's challenges, while unique, are another opportunity to show our strength and resilience. Our commitment to you remains strong. Whether it's using our drive-through services, bank by phone, the First Bank mobile app, or online banking, we're staying strong with you. Be safe and be secure. First Bank, here for you.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Okay, sports fans, it's time to get into basketball mode. Football's behind us, but we are making a fortune right now in pro basketball at wagerpro.com. Call this toll-free number right now, and I've got the TNT parlay tonight absolutely free on a 30-second recorded message. Call 800-499-3733. That's 800-499-3733. That's 800-499-FREE. The point spread winner of tonight's matchup between Miami and Houston, and the second matchup as well, Portland, Philadelphia. Guys, we're going 2-0. They're both nationally televised. We're going to make big, and I mean big money on both games. Call now. They're absolutely free, and they're on a 30-second recording. Call 800-499-3733. That's 800-499-3733. And be sure to visit wagerpro.com.
Welcome to the quickest podcast ever, brought to you by Kohl's. Today's topic, Valentine's Day. If you need some lovely gifts, think Kohl's. Sneakers for your kids, a Citizen watch for your husband, JBL headphones for your boyfriends, multiple boyfriends, huh? And cute PJs for you. Love that self-care. Bonus, you can save 15% right now and earn Kohl's Cash. I wish I had more time. Get it in 1 hour or less with free store pickup. BRB. Select styles, 15% off for valid February 5th through 15th with promo code TAKE15. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
If you own a small business, you know how hard it can be to find new customers. Town Square has new tools that can help your business stand out and grow. Go to GetLocalCustomersNow.com for a free competitive analysis that will show you what other businesses are doing to find new customers and how you can do it too with Town Square. Be one of the first businesses to sign up and receive $500 in free advertising on this station. Start growing your business today. Visit GetLocalCustomersNow.com. That's GetLocalCustomersNow.com.
The radio home of the 76ers.
That's what he does. Fuck it.
WENJ HD Millville, Atlantic City. 97.3 ESPN. 97.3 ESPN presents The Sports Bash with Mike Gill. It's time for Football at 4 with 97.3 ESPN.com's Andrew DiCecco.
My first allegiance is what will be best for the Philadelphia Eagles and our fans for the next
3, 4, 5 years.
Powered by the Inside the Birds podcast. Now, live from inside the Matt Black Kia Studios, it's Football at 4.
Football at 4 is powered by the Inside the Birds podcast and brought to you locally by Dr. Lyle and Back. For everything from skincare to cosmetic surgery, go to iloveLyleBack.com or call 856-MAKEOVER for Dr. Lyle and Back, proud sponsor of Football at 4. Andrew DiCecco is in the house. He is on the Boardwalk Honda Hotline here on the Sports Bats Live on 97.3 ESPN. And he, like all guests, appears here at the Boardwalk Honda Hotline as we look ahead to the latest on this Carson Wentz situation and some other NFL news as well. Yes, there are other things going on out there. Andrew DiCecco joins us now here on Football at 4. What's going on, Andrew?
Hey, Mike, how you doing, man?
All is well, and we were hoping by Thursday that something would happen here, but obviously nothing has happened with Wentz. So now we've got other things that have kind of trickled into the conversation. Get your take on some of the things that are going on with this Philadelphia Eagles situation. I want to get your opinion on, do you think the Eagles are starting to lose leverage with Carson Wentz at this time?
Yeah, I think that's pretty evident here. I mean, I think that, and Adam Kaplan said it best on the podcast, if you know, this deal was done over the weekend, if Howie's getting what he wanted. I mean, I think that he didn't see what teams were offering as fair market value. And I think he kind of aimed a little bit high because, yes, the reward of getting a player of Carson Wentz's caliber is certainly evident. But, I mean, there's also a risk there, right? I mean, I don't know how you can expect a team to part with multiple first-round picks when you have a quarterback who's had injuries in the past, who's coming off a horrendous season where he's regressed. It was a dramatic regression. I mean, there's definitely some risk there. So I think he may have kind of aimed for the moon, and now teams are growing a little bit impatient and they're ready to move forward with other options.
Yeah, and other options out there, there's a lot of them. So that kind of complicates things for the Eagles. But, some people have the thought of, hey, Roseman's played this game. He's playing this game. He's the ultimate, at manipulating these kind of things. He's made some trades before. So I know that Roseman is not the most well-liked guy out there, Andrew, but in a trade scenario, is this an area where he excels and that we should say, hey, let's give Howie a chance here?
Well, he's savvy in certain areas. We talked about it the other day that player evaluation, talent evaluation is not his strong suit, but he is good at moving money around. He's cap savvy. And he's usually good at trades. I mean, he's known to fleece teams, in the past. But I think here what he did is possibly he overvalued his quarterback. Obviously, the quarterback is a premier position, a blue chip position that you're going to get a lot back for generally. But in this particular situation, I think he aimed a little bit high and may have overvalued Carson's worth. And I think he should have been happy to grab a first round pick and a player. Now, as the days go on and he's still on the roster, there could be a little bit of desperation on the Eagles end because you start to see all these different names that are brought up now, and teams are going to move on to their secondary options here. And I think teams are just, they're ready to move on. They're getting impatient.
What if the first round pick and the player wasn't really on the table? Because I'm trying to balance here. Do I fault Howie for not just giving him away? And if they're in, what mode are they in? What mode should they be in? Should they be in the mode of get rid of him for whatever the best offer is? Or should they be in the mindset of, I'm not just going to give him away just because of the situation we're in? So what if the first round pick and the player wasn't really there?
Well, I have to believe that at least the first round pick would be there. When you look at what past quarterbacks have yielded in trades and a player of Carson Wentz's caliber, and obviously, yes, he's coming off a bad season. We all know that. That's been well documented. But you saw what he's capable of playing when he's at his peak. And if, and given in the right situation, like Indianapolis, that has a good offensive line, a young coaching staff, you have to be, clamoring to get this guy on your roster, knowing that you can kind of get him to reach his promise. And I think if you're getting a first round pick for a quarterback, that should be, a no brainer. I don't know that he was going to get more than that ever. But I think that to your second point, is it worth, they don't just want to give him away? Well, yeah, I agree with that, but it's just the quarterback doesn't want to be here. I think that's pretty evident at this point. So he's not going to likely be on this roster. So you have to unload him sooner than later, because teams start to find their answer. They look to the draft. They look at guys like that might be able to shake free, possibly like a Derek Carr. And I mean, it's just not going to work here in Philadelphia. You have to unload this guy. I can't see the Eagles being able to move forward with Carson Wentz on the roster in 2021.
I was going to follow up with that. If they don't get a deal that they like, does Howie Roseman have it in him to say, we're just going to keep him? We didn't get the offer we were looking for. We didn't get the offer that we thought we should have got. So we are going to keep him and try to make this work. Any chance you see that as a scenario?
Well, I mean, a very, very slim scenario. I slim chance that happens. I don't know. It's very clear that Carson doesn't want to be here. And how do you get, and that he's checked out of the city, as I saw yesterday, that was reported. I think Tim McManus said that, but I don't know how you can bring him back into that locker room, into that situation. You have to wonder the perception that the locker room is going to be very split and divided. You're going to have some of the younger players that might think, hey man, this guy, Jalen Hurts, we're going to rally behind him. This guy, the other guy, Carson Wentz, was ready to quit on us because, it got tough and he didn't want to fight for his job. It's going to be perceived differently by every player on the roster, but I don't know how he can walk into that, like with everything that's kind of transpired, all the things that have been piling on, all these anonymous reports, this, that, and the other thing. I just think that the damage it just can't be, you can't put the toothpaste back in. It just can't happen.
I'm just looking at all the options here. What about holding on to him? Not even trying to fix him, but waiting for a team to get desperate if maybe a quarterback gets injured and I think that they could still make a significant push.
Well, how long are you willing to? I mean, I don't know that he would even report to. It's not a guarantee that he would report to training camp, Carson Wentz. If you keep him on the roster, he could very easily say, and I'm not saying he would, but he could very easily say, I'm not playing this year. I mean, that wouldn't help his stock, obviously, coming off a bad season. But I mean, I don't know that holding on to him longer than you really need to is going to benefit either party. And I think that it would really benefit the Eagles and Carson to get the value that you can right now and move on. Just cut ties. Then you can kind of reevaluate. Do I want to move forward with Jalen Hurts? Do I want to start doing my due diligence on some of these quarterbacks in the draft? We're sitting at the 6th overall pick. We're going to have there's going to be a decent prospect available to us. So, I mean, there's going to be a lot of options, and I think that you need to get him off the roster now and then reassess and reevaluate where you're at.
That's an interesting scenario because some people brought this up earlier in the comments section that are watching the show at 97.3ESPN.com is there have been other quarterbacks who have, quote-unquote, retired to get out of situations that they don't like. Carson Palmer retired from the Bengals so that they could trade him to the Raiders. There's been guys who have just said, I'm not playing here. I wonder if the Eagles would let it get to that point where, hey, look, we're not just going to give you away. You're going to have to make this decision yourself. If you want to retire, walk away from some of this money, that's on you. Yeah,
and if that happens, Mike, it's going to get really ugly because it's just not that dynamic right now. It's broken. It's fractured. It's not going to work. When your franchise quarterback isn't on speaking terms with your general manager, I mean, that's a problem. That isn't going. It's not going to be resolved on either end. It doesn't seem like he's not answering Howie's calls. That's been reported. That's well known. That can't. I mean, that's not a healthy environment. That's just I don't foresee him taking another snap for the Eagles. I can't say that simpler.
Yeah. All right. So, couple things then. What is the message that the Eagles' young receivers, according to John Clark of NBC Philadelphia, are going to go work out with Jalen Hurts? I mean, that message seems pretty obvious that they have moved on from Carson Wentz, that the team itself, the offensive skill players have moved on.
Yeah, well, that's very telling. And they also know that Jalen Hurts is going to be on the roster in 2021 in all likelihood. So you have a guy on your team right now that you know is going to be there through training camp. Let's go get the work in with him. We'll let Carson deal with whatever he's dealing with. It doesn't sound like he's going to be a part of the Eagles franchise moving forward. We're going to go forward with this guy. And, I mean, right now that's their best option. I mean, at pick number 6, I don't know that taking a quarterback there is the best use of their asset. And I think that they should kind of build the team the right way around Jalen Hurts and not make the same mistake that they did surrounding Carson Wentz with lackluster skill players.
Right. So, I mean, look, the leverage situation here, that's hard to kind of read, but it feels that there's so many quarterbacks available this offseason that Wentz coming off the year he had doesn't make him stand out in the crowd. And I would imagine that the Eagles, if they're asking for too much, teams are just going to say, all right, we'll call the next guy. You want us to give you 2 first-round picks. The question that I have then becomes, are they better equipped to trade him, say, draft day?
I mean, the longer you wait, I think that there's going to be teams are going to do their due diligence and make phone calls to other teams. And if you're in a position where you can win now, or you're possibly in the conversation to make the playoffs, you're a piece or two away, you're going to try and get a veteran on that roster. And there's names that have been dangled out there, and teams are going to move on to their secondary option. And I think we're waiting till draft day is extremely risky. And it just prolongs the process and more stories, more speculation. Carson probably won't speak by then. It's just cut ties now, part ways, and just move on.
Let me get your opinion on this. If Howie Roseman resigned, do you think Wentz would change his tune?
Yes, but I don't think that Howie Roseman, I don't think that's ever even entered his mind at all. And certainly with Jeffrey Lurie, as long as he's the team owner, Howie's not going anywhere. But I do think that when there's a problem with the front office, that points to Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie, who I alluded to last time. My belief is that I think that he has a stronger voice in the war room and strong decisions than meaningful decisions than some may realize, which is why I think that Howie's gotten a little bit longer of a leash than most GMs would have been allotted.
Yeah, we were just throwing around a couple hypotheticals. That was one of them, knowing it wasn't a serious one. Another one was, if Carson Wentz was to come back and play against the Eagles at the Link with the fan base going crazy, drunk, going nuts, what would the reaction be to Carson Wentz? What do you think?
I think it would be, honestly, it's going to be a mixture of cheers and boos. And I know that's not an exciting answer, but you're going to have, there's a lot of, nobody's going to forget what Carson did in playing a major role in getting the Eagles to the Super Bowl, or getting the Eagles close to the Super Bowl. I mean, obviously he wasn't able to finish the season out, but they don't make the big game without Carson and without what he was able to do on the field. He played out of his mind and was on an MVP track. So nobody's going to forget that. However, there's going to be some that look at the regression, that look at the excuse making, that look at, we're paying this guy all this money to be a franchise quarterback. You're supposed to elevate the play of those around you and not make excuses and take ownership and be accountable and want to be here, embrace the city. You're going to see guys that are going to view him as wanting to leave when the going got tough, as quitting on the team. So there's going to be a split on how he's kind of received when he does, if and when he does, return to Philly to play. So that's going to be really interesting.
Here's a question.
I mean, he's lucky. There were no fans in the stands this year, because the boos that would have been raining down would have been, astronomical. It would have been pretty severe.
Here's a question. We talk about leverage and whether they have leverage or not. You've got Indianapolis currently with no quarterback. I mean, Brissett's going to be a free agent, I believe. They've got nobody really. The Bears have Nick Foles and Trubisky, who I think is also a free agent. So do they have more leverage than we're giving them credit for if those two teams are in play?
I mean, the Eagles, they have some leverage, but I mean, there's like I said, there's other quarterbacks out there that could be in the conversation. I mean, the Eagles aren't completely, they're not out of the woods here just because the other teams have quarterbacks that are on their way out. I mean, I still think that they need to move forward and get Carson off the roster, take what you can get for him at this point, and just move on.
All right. We will, of course, be keeping our eyes on that. Football at 4. Adam Kaplan is in the house tomorrow from the Inside the Birds podcast. They have a new podcast out. One of the teams they mentioned, I don't know if they read my tweet or not there, Brodes, but they talked about it this morning during the Inside the Birds podcast. Broncos in the mix.
The Broncos, yeah.
Yeah.
I said the Broncos yesterday.
I tweeted out, I think Monday or Tuesday, that I think that could be the mystery team, if there is a mystery team. For some reason, Carson in Denver and Elway, he's kind of that gunslinger. Like, I feel like Elway feels like this could, because Elway's in some hot water out there. They can't find a quarterback. I wonder if he would be willing to take a shot. Why do you think Denver makes some sense?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously you mentioned the parallels between Carson Wentz and John Elway. He's got that gunslinger mentality. They have a lot of offensive pieces in that they've slowly built over the past couple of drafts in Denver. So he's in an ideal offensive situation where he can step in there and really make some things happen there that Drew Lock it hasn't gotten it done. I mean, Drew Lock was a player that I went into the season thinking the pieces are in place for him to really have a breakout year, and that just never happened. Put a player with Carson's skill set there, you have your Jerry Jeudy's, your Noah Fonts. I mean, there's guys there that can really make some things happen, and I think that would be a great situation for him to thrive. And I think if you're on Elway, like you said, you might get some hot water there. Go ahead and get a quarterback that's done it before, and they can really elevate their offense. All
right, football at 4. Let me ask you this question. Russell Wilson, teams have called about Russell Wilson's availability. Do you anticipate seeing the Seahawks and Wilson cutting ties?
No, it seems to me that Russell Wilson's name always seems to be, dangled in trade conversation, speculation every offseason. But the Seahawks, if they're smart, and as I've seen, they have no intentions of moving Russell Wilson. It would have to be something substantial. They have to be absolutely blown away for that to even happen. Their offense goes through him. And he's an MVP candidate, perennial MVP candidate, and they'd be wise to hold on to him. So I don't think he's going anywhere.
All right. How about, do you feel that Watson gets moved?
Yes, eventually I do.
Huh?
I don't think that it's gonna. I mean, it's clear he doesn't want to be there. And how can you have your leader on offense in the situation where he doesn't want to be?
That would be an interesting one. I guess the other guy that could be moved was Sam Darnold. Do you think that he will have a market?
I do. And the thing with Sam Darnold, I've gotten to see him close in person many times, and he's better than what he's been given credit for. He was in a horrendous offense on Adam Gase's offense that didn't really play to his skill set. He had mono that wiped him out of most of the 2019 season. This year, I mean, he's been inconsistent. I think if you get him into a new situation, he's the classic example of a young quarterback that just needs to be moved into another situation before we can actually call him a bust or a player that just doesn't have what it takes to be a franchise quarterback.
All right, so some quarterback stuff to keep an eye on. We'll continue to do so. Football at 4 here, powered by the Inside the Birds podcast. They got a new podcast that dropped today, so check that out. And, of course, Andrew is back on Tuesday. Adam Kaplan's in tomorrow. Moshe's here on Monday. Football at 4, free agency. The draft is on the way. By the way, latest mock draft, Jamar Chase from Todd McShay going. Now, the whole mock draft, I don't know if you saw that, had 4 quarterbacks going, boom, boom, boom. And then Chase was the first receiver off the board, but is he your number 1 receiver?
It's early in the pre-draft process. Sometimes my rankings tend to change. They're usually finalized in mid-March. But yeah, right now he would be my top receiver. I have 4 quarterbacks going in a row. Huh? I don't know that will happen. I have a hard time thinking that the Bengals there at 3 will be able to resist passing up on an offensive weapon to go with to pair with.
He had a trade go in there. That was why.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I mean, you never know. You're going to see a million different mock drafts and a million different theories and all kinds of stuff. I mean, that's what makes the pre-draft process fun, I guess.
All right, Andrew DiCecco at DiCecco NFL. Make sure you follow him for the draft and all the offseason stuff as the Eagles and this offseason it is a one filled with drama so far. We'll keep our eyes on it here on Football at 4. Thanks, man.
All right, guys, take care.
And he, like August, appeared via the Boardwalk Honda hotline. Andrew DiCecco, going to be great draft conversation when we get closer to that draft process. And as he said, Jamar Chase, his favorite wide receiver right now. That could change. Now, the process is a little different. And he's used to going to Shrine Bowl and all the different workouts and the combine. They're not going to have that stuff this year.
Yeah, a lot more tape diving, right? I mean, look, they obviously watch a lot of tape anyway, but I would imagine that's where they're really going to have to do some more searching because, like you said, you don't have those opportunities to go out there and see what these guys are all about.
Football 4 brought to you by Dr. Lyle and Back. Everything from skincare to cosmetic surgery. Go to ilovelyle.back.com. Call 856-MAKEOVER. Dr. Lyle and Back, proud sponsor of Football at 4. This hour of the Sports Bash, it is brought to you by Prop Swap, where America buys and sells sports bets. Check them out online at propswap.com. All right, when we come back, we've got a lot to get into, including a little Flyers conversation. They don't play for a while. Their game got canceled again on Sunday. But, Brodes, you talked to a former Flyer who has one thought about what this team might be missing. And we're going to get into that coming up. Because I know you and Schweim don't agree on this.
Well, that's for sure.
Yeah, thankfully. Because if you agreed with him, I'd get rid of you. Back with more Sports Bash.
Turn it on. Leave it on. The Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN.
Hey guys, are you afraid of taking off your shirt in public? Don't be embarrassed. Just say, I love Lyle Back instead with male breast reduction. Many men develop a fullness in their chest as boys that persists and even worsens as they get older. This condition is called gynecomastia, and with simple liposuction, most cases can be effectively treated. Call 856-MAKEOVER today to schedule your private consultation with Dr. Lyle and Back. That's 856-MAKEOVER, or visit ilovelyle.back.com.
This month, let me offer you some presidential advice. Leave me, I mean your dollar, in your wallet when you get 0% APR financing from Matt Blatt Kia.
Matt Blatt Kia wants to get you out of that old car you hate. Come in today or visit us online and get the credit you deserve. 0% APR financing available for up to 60 months on new 2021 Kia Sportage, K5, and Forte models. Or take $4,000 off MSRP on new 2020 Kia Niros in stock. Plus, Matt Blatt Kia in Toms River and Egg Harbor Township wants your trade, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth. Don't forget, you can't make a mistake with our 4-day love it or leave it return policy.
It's gotta be a Matt Blatt Kia.
Offers with approved Tier 1 and 2 credit through Kia Motors Finance. Not all will qualify. 0% based on fitting 16 per 1,000 borrowed. Go to mattblattkianj.com for complete details. Expires 3/4/2021. Matt Blatt Kia, 6211 Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township. And now on Route 37 in Toms River.
Okay, sports fans, it's time to get into basketball mode. Football's behind us, but we are making a fortune right now in pro basketball at wagerpro.com. Call this toll-free number right now, and I've got the TNT parlay tonight absolutely free on a 30-second recorded message. Call 800-499-3733. That's 800-499-3733. That's 800-499-FREE. The point spread winner of tonight's matchup between Miami and Houston, and the second matchup as well, Portland, Philadelphia. Guys, we're going 2-0. They're both nationally televised. We're going to make big, and I mean big money on both games. Call now. They're absolutely free, and they're on a 30-second recording. Call 800-499-3733. That's 800-499-3733. And be sure to visit wagerpro.com.
Hello, Cape May County. This is County Commissioner Len Desiderio, co-chair of the County Recovery Task Force. We know that there are a lot of questions about the COVID vaccination. Please go to capemaycountynj.gov for information and to register in the state system. The beginning of this effort has been very challenging as we wait for the federal and state governments to implement distribution. But we already lead the state in vaccine administration, and we are ready to expand our efforts as soon as the state distributes larger amounts of vaccine to us. Please go to capemaycountynj.gov and click to register, and check back often for more information. You will then be notified by the state when your turn comes about how to schedule your appointment. Go to capemaycountynj.gov and register now. Please go to capemaycountynj.gov for information and to register in the state system. Let's vaccinate safely together.
Why would I quit my 9 to 5 to start a 9 to who knows when gaming company? Or eat pizza for breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Oh, I gotta get that. How could my favorite tech be an app that helps run my business? No offense, smartphone. None taken. Or fill my garage with enough servers to power a small country? It's because I wanted to make it big in gaming. And QuickBooks suite of tools helped me get there.
Intuit QuickBooks helps small businesses be more successful. Learn more at QuickBooks.com.
As a dentist, I know what my patients are saying.
Mm-hmm.
She says her gums are irritated.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything you can do? You can try new Crest Advanced Gum Restore. It detoxifies below the gum line to restore your gums back to health in just 7 days.
Now, back to the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN.
All right, big doubleheader tonight. We got them both right here on 97.3 ESPN. We'll have the first game, Miami and Houston. That is a 7 o'clock coverage right here on 97.3 ESPN, followed by Tom McGinnis and the Sixers taking on the Blazers at 10 o'clock on 97.3 ESPN. We'll have the doubleheader for you. And right now from Wager Pro and the Wager Pro app, JR joins us. And I know, JR, those are two games that you have right on your radar tonight. How are you, man?
You couldn't be more right, guys. Now that the big game is over, we are doing nothing but cleaning up in college basketball. My college sources have been ridiculous this year. We're hitting way over 80%. Best year I've ever had in college basketball. In the NBA, man, the only word I could find is fire. 11 out of the last 12 wins. So here's what I'm doing. Love the game tonight on TNT, the late game, 76ers Trailblazers. I'm leaving that one free for all the listeners right now on the recorded message. Guys, call the number 800-499-3733, 800-499-3733. And as a bonus, I'm also using the early TNT game. That's on the machine, as you've been hearing on my ads running all day here on the station. So call the number. Let me make you some money tonight. 800-499-3733 for both NBA winners on a recorded message, and they're absolutely free.
Yeah, Rockets tonight are 2.5, 3, depending on where you are against the Heat, and the Sixers tonight 5.5. That number's gone up against Portland. Let's look at some of the other interesting games here, and one of them is I look at this Raptors-Celtics game. Like last year, this was a war. Toronto or Tampa, whatever you want to call them, are playing a lot better basketball recently. And 4.5, this number jumped down to 2.5. Very interesting game between Boston and Toronto.
Yeah, that line really did start to come down, and Toronto had a pretty good night last night. Started looking a little bit better, started to get some traction behind them. And I mean, let's face it, like you said, these two teams would normally be battling it out, but now here they are, 12-13 and 12-11. It's not like they were breaking any records out there, so to speak. But nonetheless, two teams that need to get some nice wins behind them, with Toronto now having 2 wins in a row under their belt and Boston on the opposite end of that now, 2 losses in a row. I like the Toronto defense a little bit better. I like the Toronto offense a little better and the Boston defense a little bit better. But just knowing where these teams are headed in the direction that they're in, basketball's big on momentum. And right now the momentum is definitely, you got the wind at the sails, as they like to say, for the Toronto Raptors. So I'm looking for them to have a good night tonight. And that's why that line's coming down. It did open up much higher. It's now down to 2.5, even seeing some 2s out there. So not only do I think that the Raptors get this cover, but they should win the game outright.
That's good stuff there. Raptors on the road at Boston. Another one is Pacers-Pistons. Pistons plus 5.5 it opened up with. They're down to 3. They're the home team here, though. Pacers got into an up and down matchup with Brooklyn the other night, so could be a sneaky spot here for the Pistons.
It is. And you know what? I mean, look at that line. I mean, if you're looking at probably what would be the easiest, at least handicapping on the board tonight, you would think the 12-13 Pacers minus the 3 at the 6-18 Pistons would be the easiest one on the board. But, quite frankly, like you just said, with Indiana, having that loss coming off of that big Brooklyn loss is, putting them a game below 500 straight up. They're still below 500 against the spread, whereas the Pistons have been covering. both teams have a pretty identical offense. They're both scoring about 110 points a game, but the Detroit defense is definitely better than this Indiana defense. So I'm going to look for it to be a back and forth, a lot of lead change. I don't want to pick the Pistons here, though, just because it does look too easy on Indiana. I'm not going to be the contrarian. If I have to pull the trigger, not that I'm using the game, I'd be on the favorite, but I don't like it.
I kind of like the Pacers where it opened at 5.5. The Pistons where it opened. I don't know that I like it as much at 3. One more is, I feel like 224.5 where it opened is there's a lot of points in this one. Warriors, Magic. We know the Warriors have been going bananas offensively, not great defensively, but that line went from 5, JR. It's up to 8 in certain places.
Yeah, you're talking about a game that I really actually do like tonight. Why not? I'll give that out on the air and tell you players to get all over the Golden State Warriors tonight, minus the 8 before it goes to 9, because that line's going to continue to get driven up. The Warriors are on a bit of a mission here. They got to start to get, like we were talking about earlier, that traction. And, they're in a good position here at home against an Orlando team that's way under 500. They're not doing very well offensively, and their defense is nothing to talk of. So I think Golden State manhandles them tonight, not only gets the win, but does it in an emphatic fashion. I look for them to win this game by double digits, all the way up to as much as 20 to 25 points.
Good stuff, JR, from the Wager Pro app. Tell us what the other 2 games you got featured tonight.
Guys, the big one I want you on is going to be the Philadelphia-Portland game. I'm using that one big time. All my big clients will be betting it. So it's absolutely free on a recorded message. Let me make you money on this one. It's absolutely free, guys. 800-499-3733. That's 800-499-3733 for the winner of the 76ers Trailblazers. And I also got the winner of that Heat Rockets game on there as well. So call the number, get the winners. They're free. And let's start making money. Let me show you how to do this. Long-term productivity is the name of the game. 800-499-3733. Download the Wager Pro app and check me out at wagerpro.com. All
right, the NBA season in full swing. Now we're starting to get a better read on some of these teams. And JR, of course, like all guests, appeared via the Boardwalk Honda hotline. Thank you, pal.
My pleasure, guys. Go out there and make some money.
There you go. We got him again here, and he likes that Golden State game tonight. Check that out. And, of course, the 2 games here on 97.3 ESPN. It's Miami and Houston and Sixers and Blazers. Mike and Brodes here with you on a Sports Bash Thursday. The weekend's almost here. All this snow. It's crazy outside. My God. You got no snow today, huh?
No, I did. I just thought I was going to get.
Got.
Well, you guys get a lot?
Oh, you're here, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, I got about the same. I normally get more, it seems, but last night, I guess I kind of got around the same.
I was a little surprised when I woke up today, to be honest with you. Now, my buddy used a snowblower.
He did on
First time in 3 years.
On this? This isn't snowblower material.
No, it's not. But, I mean, you have it. It's been sitting in your house for 3 years.
You feel obligated?
Almost.
I guess so.
Like, if you bought one and never used it, I mean, when else are you going to get a chance?
I feel the effort to use it on what we got last night, though, is almost defeating in itself. Like, really? I'm going to go through all this with the snowblower for this amount of snow?
Right. Yeah,
moral of the story, you don't need a snowblower.
I'm just going to wait for it to melt.
Yeah, there you go.
Sports Best brought to you by East Coast Roofing, Siding, and Windows, serving all of South Jersey. If you call, they'll show up. Visit them online, eastcoastroofing.com. All right, I want to get into the Flyers got another game canceled, and they will not play now until, next Thursday. A week from today is the next scheduled game they have. So their game tonight, canceled. Postponed, I should say. The game Saturday, postponed. The game Sunday, postponed. They did not schedule to play Monday, Tuesday. Are they supposed to play Tuesday?
No, remember that game got moved from Tuesday to Sunday.
That's
the
correct.
Rangers
That's
game.
right. That's why I have it crossed off my list.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a second. So the next scheduled game is the 18th.
Yes, it is.
You and Billy got into a pretty heated argument on Sunday, which I happened to hear. And you've had this conversation with him a bunch, but you actually talked to a former Flyer about the conversation. We'll have that coming up next on the Sports Bash.
It's Sixers basketball tonight on 97.3 ESPN with the voice of the 76ers, Tom McGinnis, calling all the exciting play-by-play action.
Harris throws it away. Simmons with a steal. Simmons down the lane. Oh, yeah. Right down Broad Street with a two-hand jam.
The Sixers are in Portland to face the Blazers. Tonight, coverage begins at 10 p.m. Philadelphia 76ers basketball on your radio home of the Sixers in South Jersey, 97.3 ESPN.
It's a new year and an all-new Matt Blatt Nissan. Matt Blatt Nissan on the Black Horse Pike in Egg Harbor Township next to Home Depot. Help us celebrate when you get out of that old car, truck, or SUV and into a brand new Nissan 2020 Nissan Kicks. $4,000 off MSRP on in-stock units or get 0% APR financing for 60 months on new in-stock Nissan Kicks, Sentra, or Altima models. Plus, Matt Blatt Nissan has fast-track checkout available online at mattblattnissan.com. Our non-touch delivery and electronic paperwork ensures your safety comes first. We want to help with your credit approval today so you can drive a new Nissan with 0% APR financing. Matt Blatt Nissan on the Black Horse Pike in Egg Harbor Township or online at mattblattnissan.com. Unapproved credit. Negative equity will be refinanced into new vehicle. All factory rebates and incentives to dealer. 0% APR financing based on 1516 per 1,000 borrowed. Offers can't be combined. Call 888-731-5030 for all the details. It's on at Matt Blatt Nissan on the Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township.
Oh, yeah, it's on at Matt Blatt Nissan.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
If you're struggling with a drug or alcohol addiction, now is the time to take action and get professional help. Call Recovery Centers of America at 1-888-RECOVERY today. You are worthy of recovery from your addiction, and calling RCA will be your first step in getting the help you need. Recovery Centers of America answers the phone and admits patients 24/7. And because safety is a top priority, all patients and staff are routinely tested for COVID-19. RCA's expert team of physicians and medical professionals will treat you with compassion and dignity and provide an evidence-based treatment plan that is custom-tailored to your specific needs. Recovery Centers of America at Devon and Lighthouse are local and in-network with insurance providers, so they're best-in-class inpatient and outpatient care, offered both in-person and via teletherapy, is affordable and accessible. Make this the year you conquer your addiction. Call today, 1-888-RECOVERY. That's 1-888-RECOVERY.
Nya nya nya. Ba. Ba. Babue. Zimbabwe. The broken Bunsen burner burns so bright. Southeast Asian Peninsula.
Hey, Jamie? Yes. I think the only line we need from you today is drivers who switch to Progressive could save big.
Cool. I just got to finish my warm-ups. Foul, throw in the towel. History.
Switch to Progressive today.
Santa ski slalom in a salmon skin suit.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
DQ presents. Picture this. A DQ red velvet Cupid cake made for two. This heart-shaped cake is at the center of your perfect date night. There's a layer of red velvet cake blizzard, delicious red velvety cake pieces and cream cheese icing. Wait, what's that? World-famous DQ soft serve. Your Valentine is speechless. It's a DQ Valentine's Day happily ever after. Moments like these are exactly why the DQ Cupid cake exists. DQ. Happy tastes good.
Kendall Auto Plaza offers the area's best car and truck buying experience with 60 years of customer satisfaction and community service. What's on their 100-acre lot? A huge inventory of Ford, Lincoln, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Chrysler, and over 100 quality and certified pre-owned vehicles. Whether you use your car, truck, or SUV for work or play, discover why Kendall customers are so loyal. Kendall Auto Plaza, exit 10 of the Parkway on Stone Harbor Boulevard, or shop from home at KendallAutoplaza.com.
You can watch the Sports Bash live now on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Search 97.3 ESPN or visit our website, 97.3ESPN.com.
Hey, I want to tell you about my friends over at Bernie Robbins Jewelers. They're having the Crazy Cupid sale. It started yesterday. Today and tomorrow is the last day of this company-wide half-off sale. It's the first time in 15 years they've done this. and they've got a special selection of Valentine's Day gifts on sale for up to 50% off. Interest-free financing is available. Guys, Valentine's Day is on Sunday, and there's great gifts you can get for your girlfriend or wife this Valentine's Day. A necklace, a ring, bracelets, earring, engagement ring, select watches, up to 50% off. It's the perfect time to get there, but you only have till tomorrow to get 50% off. So don't be one of those last-minute guys that waits and says, my God, I got to get there this, and I could have got 50% off if I just went today. Or go to the website, BernieRobbins.com/Cupid, and get 50% off right now through tomorrow at one of Bernie Robbins' 4 locations. Bernie Robbins Jewelers, make it happen, guys. You already do that?
Yup.
You got something already?
Of course.
Good for you.
I'm a prepared man. Preparedsman.
Preparedsman.
Of course.
Yeah. All right. So you on Sports Talk with Brodes now had a chance to catch up with former Flyer Riley Cote.
Yes. Yeah, it was fun.
What was the genesis of this conversation?
Just hanging out, talking hockey, sharing some stories. Originally, we were going to take it down the road of like, where is this current Flyers team and all? Because he's up at the Times and he watches his team just as much as I do. But then it naturally just kind of flowed into sharing our own personal stories of being on the ice and, talking about where the game is in 2021. And it kind of went on a ride there. And, naturally, considering he was a fighter, it went down the line of fighting a little bit. And I thought he had some interesting things to say.
Well, on Sunday morning, I was tuned into the locker room with you and Billy, and you guys got into this pretty, heated argument about what the Flyers are kind of lacking. And I got to be honest, I tended to agree with you more.
That makes me feel great. That makes me feel great. Let's go.
No, at no point did I say, what this team really needs is someone to fight.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
I agree that they are probably some better defense away from being where they really need to be. I don't know that adding James Buster Douglas to this hockey team is going to help them out much, but hey, it's one philosophy.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And yeah, one of the things I brought up, so I explained to him, and I'm pretty vocal about this, when it comes to hockey now, fourth line, young, speed, they have skill. You want to be able to roll 4 lines. And Billy's point is, well, there's no one afraid. No one's afraid of the fourth line anymore. Intimidation, and you got to be scared. And I'm like, you know what's scary? I almost called him Gill. You know what's scary, Bill? When you're a defenseman, knowing you're up against a fourth line that has speed and skill. Because now there's no line where you're not afraid. Like that still matters. You're still intimidated by the young, fast player that can buzz right by you when you need to worry about your gap. So let's not act as if just because you're not pounding and hitting that there's not other things to be afraid about. These guys can make plays. Back in the day, your fourth liners couldn't skate.
No, the fourth line back in the day was,
let's be real, the Riley Cotes.
Right. They were guys that basically it was like, they were
goons,
slow skaters, plotters, just like out there basically to give a quick 48-second break to the guys who, were out there a little longer.
Yeah. And one of the things he brought up, and I just want to share it with you, and just to get a little perspective on it, is like, you play hockey your whole life, right? Like growing up from ages 4 to 20 years old, you're a guy, you love hockey, you're a playmaker, you score a goal, whatever. Like you're a part of the game. But then there's this point where you're stuck in the minors and you realize there's 2 type of players that are getting caught up. The ones that score a lot of goals and the ones that get a lot of penalty minutes. So it's which track am I going to take? And for him, Riley Cote had to take the penalty minutes route. So you go from being this ice hockey player where you are playing the game and, you're making all these plays to you line up at the faceoff dot, you look at the guy next to you and say, let's just do it. And like, that's your role now. So
such a weird
I know,
dynamic.
It really is, but it's crazy to think you go from a hockey player, and I'm not diminishing anyone from being in that role and saying you're not a hockey player, but you're no longer playing the game. You're actually just a fighter. You literally are now equivalent to a boxer or a UFC fighter where you are now just a fighter. You're 99% of the game is almost irrelevant to you.
Yeah, I mean, look, I get that the style of game was once this physical style, but I mean, I don't know how anybody watches the game and says that that's what a team is lacking. I mean, that's just not you just have to understand the game has evolved and changed, that has been complete. Like it has been completely taken out. And when you watch, a game from, my God, you turn on
Kasperitis.
You just put a game on from 15 years ago. It's just that clutching and grabbing and all that stuff. It's just completely out of the game. It's like watching a football game now and watching a defensive back play defensive back 20 years ago, and now watching a defense. They can't do anything. It's like watching an NBA game. You can't touch anybody. You can't put your hand on their hip. You can't do anything. You have to just, same with hockey. You can't touch. You can't do anything. There's no physicality. You might want that and say that, yeah, they need that, but the league is saying you might want it and need it, but we ain't letting you do it.
Yeah.
So the league had to say, fine, then we need to change what we do. So that player, the Riley Cote, got pushed out. The Darian Hatcher, he was once a great defensive player. And then when the Flyers had him, they changed all the rules, and he sucked.
Yo, if you go back and watch Scott Stevens' best hits, you will throw up thinking that was allowed in this game. You would.
Well, we very famously remember him, and it's like Billy says, when you put your head down, you got to be afraid.
No.
Yeah, because you remember that vision of Stevens laying out Lindros. Well, guess what? Guys aren't skating with their head down like that anymore. If they're skating right around you,
it makes me cringe, and it sends shivers up my spine thinking that was actually something that was allowed 10, 15 times in a game, where you can just put your shoulder in some guy's jaw and watch his head snap back really disgustingly. The fact that was ever part of the game, I hate that. I really do. It shouldn't be that way, and now it's a good mix. People say there's not fighting in hockey. Well, no, there is. You watch around the league. Wayne Simmons just got into a nice fight the other night. There's been fights every single night in the NHL. Now, some of that, I think, has to do with no fans. You're trying to get the boys going, trying to get a little bit of an energy boost. Without fans, you're just trying to search for something. So I think that there is something to that now, but there still is a nice balance of, hey, it's still part of what hockey is, but let's not act like it's what you need.
I can say personally, I've never sat there and watched a game saying, man, I could really use a couple guys tugging on their sweaters, trying to keep their footing on the ice, nobody throwing a punch, with a bunch of referees standing around waiting for the moment to step in on something that is quote-unquote a fight, but nobody's actually fighting. Like most hockey fights, 80% of them amount to nothing.
Because
you might get a couple
anymore.
A couple haymakers are thrown in there, and one guy, he beats the living daylight out of the other guy, pulls his sweater up over his head, but that fight hasn't happened in 20 years.
Right, and I was actually going back and watching a couple fights with Riley Cote, and he went up against Donald Brashear. So when you have a Donald Brashear and a Riley Cote fight, those are two professional fighters going at it. But since there aren't as many fighters in the league anymore, you don't have that heavyweight fight to have that good one. And that's fine. I'd rather have fourth line speed. I want to see Albe, even though Albe Kubel got punched in the face pretty good the other night. He got
it's okay to say I miss those days and say, man, I really missed that style. But to try to say that style is what this team is missing is just, that's just off base.
No, I agree with you. I think they could use a little bit more.
So did Cote agree? Or does he think that this team, are we wrong?
No, he agreed. He thinks that what he said, and I think this is the best way to describe it, they need a little bit more toughness in them. They need a little bit more aggressiveness in them.
Well, they need more toughness because their defense is very offensive-minded. Their defense has no toughness because they're all offensive. Most of them are offensive-minded defenders. So, yeah, they need more stand-up-ish, if that's a word, at the blue line.
Exactly.
But they don't need a guy to punch you in the face.
No, they don't need a guy to punch you in the face. They need a guy to, even though a little bit offensively too, maybe when you're forechecking, maybe throw a hit a little bit heavier. They do lack a little bit of toughness, but toughness doesn't mean fighter. Toughness means just a little bit more grit in the corners and all. Not so much I need to drop the gloves and punch you in the face. You just need to play with a little bit more, be quicker on your toes.
That's an area, though, Brodes, where they are, and look, the league is small, but their forwards are small. Guys like Konechny is a smaller guy. Lawton's a smaller guy. Their forwards are still the smaller, statured guys.
Yeah, and even a guy like Claude Giroux, he's never a big physical body. Kevin Hayes can be a little tough, right? He's got a bigger frame, if you will. So there's a guy, but you're right. As a forward depth unit, they don't have these tall, insane players. And that's fine, though. You don't need that. Look around the league. You don't need that to be successful. If they had a defense, seriously, if they had defensemen we're not even having this conversation.
I totally agree. When you said that the other day, I was like, that's the end of the discussion. You're telling me if you didn't have a good blue, they probably need 2.
I agree with you. And
Right?
that's not easy to get, though, because people aren't giving up top 4 defensemen.
No, so that's a problem. So I guess, okay, I'll play devil's advocate to retort. If they can't get these defensemen, what's the next alternative? Is it to punch someone in the face?
Exactly. If you start dropping the gloves, you're going to start winning more hockey games. The answer is no. It's kind of like you are what you are, and it takes you as far as it possibly can. We look at Carter Hart, and we say he's having an off year, which he is. Part of that is because he's getting hang out to dry half the time. Now, some of the times it's on him, and people are afraid of the lack of offense. Well, the lack of offense is, we talk about this with the Sixers all the time. How much do we watch their defense and go, holy hell, it's really generating some of their offensive production. You're getting that rush down the court. You're getting the open court floor because you're getting stops on the defensive side. It's the same with hockey. They're not generating a lot of offense, but that's because they're not starting it in the D zone to help them kind of rush and generate in the offensive zone.
Yeah, one thing, look, you watch this team a lot closer and in a different, I'm imagining in a different way than I'm watching the game. And one of the things that we see a lot with this team is the defensive lapses is just constantly killing them. But you're right. That forechecking part of it is something that they need to be better at, especially if they don't have a very good defense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. They got to. They did that so great last year. Last year, their forechecking was phenomenal. It was their identity as a team is they got pucks below. I hate being like so cliche. Get pucks deep. But they got pucks deep. They got in there. They played the body a bit. They got to the puck first, and then they were able to make plays in the offensive zone. I don't think that they're doing that as great this year, and I think a lot of that starts with
why has that changed?
I think it's so bad defensively that almost like you're focusing so much on that end that maybe it's taking away from your offensive game a bit.
All right, the world's most sensitive man is on the phone. He says he needs to defend himself because you're ripping me. You were there. I wasn't there.
I was there.
Is he now? Are we misrepresenting him now?
I do not think we are.
All right, well, apparently he thinks he's being misrepresented. So we like to be fair on this show, Schweimer.
First of all, I just want to say that I never said they needed a guy to fight to win. That's not what I said. So you kind of misportray what I said. I said this team lacks toughness, and it's better to win a fight than to lose a fight. You see, when the guys fight, the guys on the bench in their sticks, it does something to a team. It's a game of intimidation, and I'd rather be on the winning side of that than on the losing side of that. That's all I'm saying.
Well, what if there's no fight? Then you don't lose.
Hold on. This team lacks a certain amount of toughness. On the blue line, yes. Offensively, checking. And you can ask Josh, I've been consistent from day one. I always said big guys beat up on little guys. And I was critical of Travis Konecny until the last couple of years. He's been playing outstanding. But he brings a toughness, his spunk, his spirit, the chippiness, almost a little Clark-esque when he's back in the day. And that's what you need. Hockey is a game of intimidation. And Hunter, you played the game.
Not anymore.
You know that if you got to keep your head up coming through the middle, it's going to take away from your playmaking ability.
That's not a thing anymore, though, because you can't step up, or you just can't step up the same way that Scott Stevens did. So no one's really afraid to skate over the middle anymore like they used to be, and that's fine. You can be intimidated without physicality, though. I told you this before. Fourth line with speed, that's intimidating. To know that there's 4 lines, another team can roll against you as a defenseman. It's like there's no breaks. There's no shifts where you don't have to worry about that. So that's intimidating as well to make sure your gap is strong, that these fourth liners, they can make plays. That's scary as well.
And we did talk about the St. Louis Blues 2 years ago. That's the recipe that they used to win the Stanley Cup because they were top to bottom, bigger, stronger, and more intimidating. And they also had skill guys, obviously, with great goaltending, but they had all the ingredients that you need. And you talked to Ronnie Cote, I've talked to Tocchet, Berube, Chikrin, Jeff Harding, numerous guys, Steve Coates, they'll all tell you the exact same thing I'm saying.
Yeah, but they're all the old school guys.
What they'll tell you, though, and look, I've talked to Coates about this too. He agrees with what you're saying, but the difference is he also understands that the game has changed and that stuff's not allowed anymore. And he'll say, I don't enjoy this brand of hockey as much anymore, but it's different. You can't just transport that style back when the league has essentially gotten away from it. That's the difference. You want to bring a style back that no longer exists, and it's okay to say, I prefer that style, but to say that that's what's missing, I think that's a little off base.
Well, I agree with you that they legislated the toughness, the physicality really out of not the physicality, the fighting out of the game. It wasn't a good look for the NHL. So Bettman kind of destroyed the great part of the game. So you look at you say the game is changed.
Got to roll,
look
Bill.
Tampa Bay.
Got to roll, Bill.
What?
I got to roll.
Oh, real quick, look at Tampa Bay.
What do you mean real quick? The clock's clocking down. I got to go.
Wake up weekday mornings from 6 to 10 with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin on 97.3 ESPN.
If you want the job, go take it. Go take it. Like, I need my quarterback to have that mentality. I feel like this is Jalen Hurts' team. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like you have to let Carson Wentz go somewhere else.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin. Weekday mornings at 6 on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Looking for the perfect gift for your sweetheart this Valentine's Day? Why not treat your sweetie to a gift card from Dr. Lyle and Back's Cosmetic Surgery Center of Cherry Hill. Gift cards can be used for anything from skincare products or services to surgery and everything in between. Hydrofacials, microneedling, skin rejuvenation, Botox, facial fillers like Juvederm, Radius, and Bellafill, liposuction, breast augmentation, and more. And Dr. Back's gift cards never expire. Call or stop in to get your Valentine's Day gift card. Call 856-MAKEOVER or visit iloveLyleback.com.
Hey, everybody, it's Mike Gill here from the Sports Bash, and I'm with Luke Pergandy from PropSwap.com. And boy, Luke, it's great to have you back, and it's a perfect time. The Super Bowl is behind us, but man, you guys had to be so busy in the days leading up to the Super Bowl. PropSwap was made for a day like Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah, the Tampa Bay Bucks were 50-1 before Brady showed up. The guy infamously sold a $400 parlay. He bet on the Braves to win the NL East. He bet on the Tampa Bay Lightning to win the Stanley Cup. He bet on the Seattle Storm to win the WNBA Finals. Those three legs hit, and he needed Kansas City to win the Super Bowl. He sold his $400 parlay on PropSwap for $57,000 in December. The seller turned $400 into $57K on a ticket that lost. Amazing sale. You know, that the only way he's getting $57K for that ticket is PropSwap. There's no other way to get paid for a ticket like that. So, you know, we're happy for him.
That is an amazing PropSwap success story. And they can continue, Luke. We've got the NCAA tournament, NBA futures. The Masters are on the way. It's a perfect chance for our listeners to get involved with PropSwap.
Please, you know, make futures, make parlays. We have so many buyers around the country. You know, I always say, like, Atlantic City is just a perfect town to be using PropSwap because you have so many different casinos to make tickets at, and you can find the best price on given teams. So there's just so many casinos down here, and if you find the best odds on a given team, you can post that immediately on PropSwap for a huge profit. So AC is a town that's built for it.
PropSwap.com. They are back. It is back. It is time for you to make some money with PropSwap.com. And everybody out there, I encourage you to use it as well. Luke Pergandy from PropSwap.com. Thanks, Luke.
Thanks a lot, Mike.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hey, y'all, this is your girl, Cheryl Underwood, and I want to tell you something. My digestive system used to make me feel sluggish, but those days are over. Now I feel great. That's because I increased my fiber intake with the Metamucil 2-week challenge, and I'm still hooked. I just took Metamucil every day for 14 days, and it's really that easy. Metamucil traps and removes the waste that weighs you down, so you feel lighter and more energetic. Now I never want to go back to that heavy feeling. Are you ready for the Metamucil 2-week challenge? For a coupon and daily support, sign up at Metamucil.com today.
When you support your local small businesses, it helps keep your neighbors employed, helps kids save for college, and strengthens your community. And Town Square Media South Jersey puts local businesses in the spotlight.
Ambient Comfort Heating and Cooling Professionals. AmbientComfortNJ.com.
Filling Marble and Tile Outlet, Philadelphia Avenue and Route 30 in Egg Harbor City. FillingMarble.com.
Dennisville Fence, serving you since 1952. Be the envy of your neighborhood.
Comfort Now by Bob McAllister. Improve the comfort in your home. Call 609-400-1005 and ask about discounts and rebate incentives. Visit IWantComfortNow.com.
East Coast Roofing, Siding and Windows. Services all of South Jersey. If you call, they'll show up. Call East Coast today at 609-646-1444. Online at eastcoastroofing.com.
Thank you for supporting your local businesses. From Town Square Media South Jersey.
South Jersey's play-by-play home for the Eagles, Sixers, and Flyers.
He scored!
97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD Millville, Atlantic City, a Town Square media station. This is the Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN. Now, live inside the Matt Black Kia Studios, here's Mike Gill.
All right, Sports Bash Live, 97.3 ESPN. A lot of fun there. Schreiner's great. You can watch him or listen to him. Watch and listen. Saturdays and Sundays from 10 to 12 in the locker room. Although the next thing I agree with him will be the first.
I've been there, trust me.
Todd and Brigantine, great segment. Hockey chat with a blue end sneaker guy. I think Schwab actually owns the blue end sneakers.
Oh, for sure he does. I think it's a no-brainer.
Right?
Yeah.
I like to get Schwein back on the phone and get his mindset when he purchased those. Like, what was his mindset when he said, yep, I'm going with these?
It's a great question. I wish I could even pretend like I know the answer, but I just don't.
Like, at some point, he just tapped out and said, yep, I know.
It's time.
Because I think Schwein's aware.
I think he's aware now that we made him aware. I don't know if he was at the time.
You don't think?
No, I think now he's looking down at his sneakers going, damn it, I am wearing these.
Well, Todd and Brigantine, I'm wondering if he knew that Billy was the blue end sneaker guy or he just is assuming based on the conversation.
Right, because you could tell when you speak to somebody, it's, that guy's such a blue end sneaker guy.
Yeah, like he essentially was like, listening to this conversation, I know what footwear that guy's gone with.
That's probably
you think
that.
so?
Yeah, for sure. That's that one.
Your boy Durso chimed in.
Yes, he did. He put up some cracking up emojis to start us off, which is fantastic.
Our Flyers insider, Kevin Durso,
the best
listening.
in the business, by the way. The best in the business.
I don't know that there's a Flyers guy that I've ever been that's been better.
No, I agree. I've been here for about 2 years, and when I met Durso, and I went right there, I'm like, yeah, you got a winner.
When did you meet Durso?
When I came here. I mean,
but you've never actually met him.
No, just via Zoom, and
that's
we would
the
talk
best
to
part
him.
about it.
What, that we don't even know each other?
Nobody. I've actually met him.
Yeah, well, I guess via face cams don't count as meeting.
Nah, not really.
Okay,
no.
Well then, yeah, I haven't really met him.
That's like the 1,000-pound sister. She's dating Jerry. She met him online, and they talk on the internet, and then he came to Kentucky to meet her. That's the first time they met.
Wait, is this the show where these two sisters have like a YouTube channel and all? You watch that too?
Of course.
I didn't know you were into that to that degree.
1,000-pound sisters?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
My fiance loves them, cracks up with them. She thinks they are the funniest thing in the world.
They're hysterical.
It's a little outrageous.
I love when they do the YouTube. I'm Amy, and I'm Tammy.
Yeah, but didn't the one end up getting everything?
Well, she lost enough weight to get the surgery.
Exactly. Okay.
Yeah.
So how does she look now? How much weight did she lose? How much does she weigh? Is she still in like 500 range?
The last time she weighed in, she was 290.
Wow, that is a huge drop off. I thought she'd go from like 1,000 to like 600.
No. They're not 1,000 each. They were 1,000 together.
That makes more sense. Who knows with these crazy people?
This last episode was hysterical. So the bigger one, Tammy, I think her name is, they keep telling her, like, you need to lose weight to get the surgery. So she went to the doctor and she weighed, I want to say like 590 something, right?
I can't believe I just thought that they both weighed 1,000 each.
No, together they weighed 1,000.
That makes way more sense, but go ahead.
Yeah. So she got on the scale. She was like 590 something, all right? Well, the doctor had a call back and said, hey, I want to do a follow-up. How are you doing? What was your last weigh-in? And she went up to 644 in a month. And he said, she gained 50 pounds in a month?
What did she do?
Nobody could figure it out because the sister's like, I haven't been giving her any food. Situations would come. You become enabled. The people, hey, I need this. You watch that show enough. It's like a Hallmark show. Someone enables you. They keep giving you the same food. The end. And so this girl, 1,000-pound sister Tammy, she met a guy on BBW chat room. Big, beautiful woman.
Yep.
And
website.
He's from North Carolina. They talked on the chat. He drove to Kentucky to meet her for the first time.
Now that's love. Now, do you think this guy knows who Tammy is?
See, that
knows
I can't
the
figure
show.
out. He is like, so.
Does he seem genuine? Skeptical, huh?
I mean, he's got to weigh 130.
That's a difference.
He's a small man.
But some people, you look.
Right. I'm not
into that, right? No
saying,
judging.
there's a definitely, that's his preference, apparently. Now, the family keeps asking, hey, she needs to lose weight. She needs to get this surgery. Are you okay with that? Because he prefers a larger woman.
Right. Now
so
that plays
they're
into
worried that he's going to try to not let her lose the weight because he wants to keep her at that size.
What
Although the problem
storyline this is.
Right? Now you want to
I'm going to go watch tonight.
Dude, it's kind of unfortunate, though. He came to visit. This was kind of weird. He came to visit, and she has to get in the wheelchair. She can't walk. They have to wheel her everywhere, and they're in the store. He's not even helping her.
Wow.
Her sister's husband's the one pushing her all around.
Come on.
And he's just standing there. So I'm like, he doesn't really care about this woman. He just wanted to take a ride to Kentucky, see what was up, and
Yeah, that's crazy. Another thing is this is such a big part of their lives. If they become skinny, which they are trying to do, of course, is lose this weight. Does that take away of my 1,000-pound sisters, though? Do people care about you once you become a normal person in society? Do you still have the following that you did? Or maybe people support what they did so much they'll still have that cult following?
Well, they have the YouTube channel. You know what that's like. You have Sports Talk with Brodes.
Yeah, but it's nothing like this. I don't have my own TV show, although that would be pretty cool.
You do now?
Oh, that's right. I do.
Right? Look,
yeah,
wave
here
to
we
the
are.
people out there.
I give a wave just like Josh doesn't. Here's a head nod.
No, but I looked up their net worth, and apparently the two of them combined are worth about $500,000.
That's more than my net worth.
Yeah, well, keep that YouTube channel going, and maybe you can get that. I don't know if they make more money off YouTube or.
Hopefully, they don't get copyright strikes. That wouldn't be good. Yeah,
No.
You don't want that.
No, but I don't know that they use music and videos and all that stuff. I'm sure they've read the rules.
Right, everybody does.
Right. But that being said, I don't know if they created the channel first or created it when they were on this show.
Yeah, that's a good question. What
This
came
is
first?
the second season.
Oh, they're only 2 seasons in, so this is fairly new. I thought this has been going on for quite some time, to be honest with you.
Well, the first season seemed like it was pretty long, and they went right into the second season.
Well, got to give the people what they want.
Yeah, well, Jerry got what he wants. He's got Tammy.
Tammy seems like a
now
beautiful
the girls, again, they're not both 1,000 pounds. They're together. They were no longer because Amy is about 300, and they're about 900 together, I guess.
Well, I give them a lot of credit.
And look, I have no room to talk, but I'm just saying that's the name of the show.
Oh no, I'm not judging anything. It's the show, and
but you've never seen it.
When I walk through the room and I see it's on, there are times where I'm like, just peeking around. What's on the TV here? I'll stay for 5 minutes. I'll laugh once, and I'll head out.
Well, the funniest thing is I get the alerts on my phone now.
Wait, what?
I guess that they know my viewing habits.
Could you
I have
imagine
YouTube TV.
Imagine being in a
That's
big
the problem with
business
having
meeting.
YouTube TV. Did you see, speaking of a big business meeting, did you see this video the other day of the lawyer was in a deposition?
No.
And it was the lawyer, the other lawyer, and the judge. And the guy had a filter on his phone, and he was a cat.
Come on.
In the deposition, he couldn't get the filter off. So he's in the room on the Zoom call, and the lawyer was a cat. And he's like, well, obviously I'm here, but I'm not a cat. He's like, I don't know how to turn this off.
Oh, my. You got to be kidding me. Can you imagine being on the Zoom call with Doc or something after the game on NBC Sports Philadelphia, and you're stuck in something like that? I mean, that's equivalent to what it is, right? You're stuck on your Zoom settings.
I guess. See, I haven't figured out yet how to do a backdrop or anything like that.
You should probably keep it that way, though. Sometimes the backdrops take away from. You don't want to be a cat.
I can't stand when somebody gets into we have these at here we use Teams, but Teams, Zoom, whatever you use. I can't stand when people have the backdrop up because the second they move their head, they get lost in the backdrop.
Okay, so now I saw that all over Twitter.
I'll put it up on the screen for the people who are watching.
Yeah, Josh is showing me this now. So I saw it all around, but I never clicked on it to see what it was about. But it was all over my Twitter feed last night. So he was I thought more of a Snapchat filter where you can see it's still the person, but maybe they have whiskers on their face or something. But that's straight up a legitimate, you are a cat.
He was the cat.
That's insane.
Yeah, I don't know. So apparently, now my girlfriend was telling me that his eyes were going all over the place. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, it is. His eyes are like moving around as if it's his eyes.
Yeah,
right?
I guess so. And because he's looking around trying to figure out. So if you're watching the show on our website, 973ESPN.com, I'll share the screen so you can see what we're talking about here. All right. So is that up on the screen now? Yeah, there we go. So this is the guy. If you check him out, he's the cat in the right-hand corner down there. See him?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. So here we go.
Video settings. You might want to take
we're trying to. Can you hear me, Judge?
I can hear you. I think it's a filter.
It is, and I don't know how to remove it. I've got my assistant here. She's trying to, but I'm prepared to go forward with it. I'm here live. I'm not a cat.
That's insane.
I can see that.
I'm here live. I'm not a cat.
Yeah, I can see that. That's amazing.
I love the fact, though, he's like, we're here and we're prepared to move forward with it.
That's insane. I mean, I don't even know what to say. How can you possibly be in that situation? Just where you thought you hit rock bottom.
Which is worse? The girl who used Gorilla Glue in her hair or the filter guy?
Definitely the hair one. Because this is, I mean, look, it's embarrassing, but it's not as bad as having to go to a doctor 10 billion times to see if you can get your hair cut off your scalp because you use Gorilla Glue, right? I mean, it's got to be the Gorilla Glue one.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that the woman thought because her hair product was got to be glued, that Gorilla Glue would be like a comparable product. That is the most astonishing thing.
Right. The cat filter, it's unfortunate that he got there, but it's not as if he put glue in his hair.
I'm not sure that I would figure out how to get the
that's what I was saying.
off.
If that popped up originally, it's like, whoa, what do I do here? Now you got to start messing around with the settings. So, like, I understand where he's coming from, but it's an unfortunate situation.
Yeah, I don't even know how, I don't understand how the people put this. Maybe I don't have that level of Zoom or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like that, to be honest with you.
The cat?
Not to that degree. No, I've not seen that.
Not to that degree.
No. But I was thinking with my 1,000-pound sisters.
The
1,000-pound sisters. If you're in a big business meeting, right? And let's say your computer, your laptop, well, you don't have a Mac, but this would be the thing is, if you have an iPhone and a Mac, they're linked together, and you're showing a PowerPoint, and your YouTube TV thing gives you a notification, everyone in that office and everyone in that meeting is going to see that you're now getting notifications for the 1,000-pound sisters. You'd be judged.
This caught me yesterday. I got caught, not caught, but I.
What else you watching behind the scenes to get you caught? Sneaking on any of those late night HBO shows?
The Cat House. Yeah, remember that one?
Oh, do I ever?
What am I watching? I don't know. I've been watching this Your Honor.
Yeah, but that's not anything.
I was watching Shark Tank last night from Friday night. Man, this guy came up with a great little.
It's not my scented socks idea, right? I gave up on that a long time ago. But that
you're done with that?
Yeah, I here's where I'm lost. You wash the socks. What happens to the scent?
Well, that's the proprietary part of it, that the scent doesn't go away. But you know what? It's almost like what a scam this is. Is this not the big, you bring this up. What a scam this is. The people who have sold the car freshener.
Because it runs out?
It runs out in a day.
Yeah, the tree ones. The classic tree ones.
And yet that tree is still making it. Well, people still get suckered into buying that tree.
Yeah, and you know what I hate about it? Oh, well, you're not supposed to take the whole tree out of the bag. What, am I going to dangle the wrapper through my car?
Guess what? I've tried that technique where it has like, you bring it down to this level and then the next level. And like, you're supposed to bring the bag down like each like week. You lower it one. That doesn't work.
Not at all.
Not at all.
And I have one of those on my thing right now. It sucks.
Yeah, the thing is too, I've had the same tree hanging for over a year because that's the problem. It stops smelling after like 48 hours. And then you just leave it there because I'm so disenchanted. I'm not buying another one.
I agree. It's such a scam. By the way, Joey D is chiming in here saying the Gorilla Glue Girl has a GoFundMe page with over $10,000 in it.
Where'd you see that?
On our fantastic stream here. Joey D commented in.
The Gorilla Girl has a GoFundMe page. She has over 10,000. Now, there were people accusing her of
making this up.
Well, that
I kind of give her props. Making 10 grand up. Gil, what can we come up with?
I've been thinking about that for a while. Did you, by the way, speaking of that, did you see the guy who streaked on the field?
Yeah, this story seems too is that for real though? Because here's something I was thinking about. If you're what was it? There was a bet that you could make, right? Where it was, will LeBron's name be brought up first? Will Tiger Woods' name be brought up first? You know what I mean? Considering Tom Brady's going to be the greatest of all time, there was a prop bet that you could bet LeBron James, Michael Jordan, whose name was going to be brought up first. Well, if Tony Romo knows that bet is in place and knows people who bet that, can't he be the one to just mention that during the broadcast? Isn't that kind of flawed? If you know that's a prop bet and you know people put money on something, it's like, can Tony Romo say that?
Does he know how much money is going to one side or the other?
I don't know. I mean, I would imagine that it doesn't matter only if he's talking to his inner circle.
Well, you're saying that somebody got in on it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not saying that happened, but isn't there some of these prop bets that are easy to manipulate?
You would think.
Just kind of interesting.
Like, will Andy Reid say burger in the post?
Right.
Did that one end up hitting?
I don't know. And here's another
one. They lost.
The Gatorade one, there's someone who pours that Gatorade that knows what color it is. You're telling me he's not giving a little nod, wink to his brother or sister?
Oh, I don't know about that. I think they have different Gatorades all in the containers there.
That's fair. That's fair. That's a good point. But there's plenty of other prop bets that you can come up with that is easy to manipulate if you think about it. Someone has the information.
Now, Matt sent a tweet at Mike Gill Show at Brodes81. He says you have to keep the tree air freshener in the wrapper and slowly expose more of it each day. It lasts a lot longer. I tried that. It doesn't.
I tried it too. It's terrible. It's terrible.
And you say a lot longer. Okay, 48 hours to 72 hours.
Exactly. Not enough for my liking. Now, I go for the ones with that you could put in the vent. Maybe it's like Febreze or something. Those ones last a little bit longer than the trees. You know what I'm talking about? The air fresheners that go in the vents?
Yeah.
They're like squares.
Well, they tell you right off the bat this thing's going to last like 14 days.
That's fine. At least tell me the truth, damn it.
The tree, somehow, though, is the go-to for everybody.
You're right. Who was the first person to come up with that?
The tree is like the standard of car air freshener, and yet it doesn't work worth a damn.
But that's kind of my philosophy with the socks. Everyone needs socks, and you always need to replenish socks, so you go scented socks. This is the same mentality. Everybody needs a car freshener. Let's get one that runs out quickly because you're just going to keep buying more.
Well, they're only like 99 cents.
Right. They're not very expensive. That is true. I wonder if there's someone who just like rubs an apple on a piece of wood and then moves on to the next one because that's how they smell. They don't smell that great.
Well, there's a couple that smell really, and they're really strong for a very short amount of time. It's like the tree is essentially like a bubble gum.
Well, how much of it
is that good flavor for like the first couple minutes of the bubble gum, and then they've scammed us on that too, that the gum flavor never stays.
Well, how much of this too is us getting in the same car every day where we don't recognize it, but if someone new came into the car, they'd be like, wow, this smells great in here.
That's a possibility. It's kind of like this room.
What's wrong with this room?
Well, there's times when you leave the room and then you come back and it smells like a goat's having, relations with a hippopotamus.
It's the strangest thing in the world.
Yeah.
Why have we come to a
Once you're
conclusion
in
on this?
here, it doesn't, but it's when you leave and then come back.
That is very true. This room is a mystery to me with this smell that we have. Now, I haven't smelled it in a little bit of time. Have you?
You know when I didn't smell it?
When?
The day Josh wasn't here.
You can't do that to Josh like that. Look, he puts his head down. He's laughing.
No, we've kind of had this problem where there's three of us in here separated by more than 6 feet, but you're way over there, he's way over there, and I'm way over here. I don't know. It's just three, but I don't know why that makes any sense. I've sat in a room with 3 other people before, and it doesn't smell like a goat's rear end.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it has something to do with we bring in food sometimes, so we'll have some heated up food and just 3 men talking sports. Maybe that's the scent. Maybe we can make that. We should make this scent an air freshener.
Yeah, it's like the Seinfeld episode when Kramer wanted to bottle up the beach.
Yes, that is correct.
We were going to bottle up the new scent, 3 men talking sports.
That's a disgusting scent. Please don't buy this.
Here, we have a new cologne for you. It's called The Locker Room.
Oh.
Then Billy would get sensitive and be mad that we stole the name of his show.
Yep.
Like 900 other shows in this world are called The Locker Room, and Billy's mad at those
people.
He's had that argue with me before.
That what?
That people stole the name of his show.
People stole the name of his show.
Yeah, you never heard that?
I have
him get mad about that before?
I have not.
So I wanted to get involved in this conversation because my name got brought up. So my personal...
What is this, like a presidential debate?
Yeah, that's what
he said my name over there.
Yep, that's why Billy called in earlier. Now it's Josh's turn.
So my working theory is that the problem is the walls. I actually smelled a couple of the walls before, and I got really disgusted.
So can you give us, since we have the show on
we have like
visual
padded
here,
wall.
I would love to
and
see.
They're not
this.
normal walls. They're actually like fabric on the wall.
Yeah, there's like you can't have regular
quote unquote soundproofing.
Yeah, but the problem is it smells fine until about 4:30,
coinciding with when Josh gets his lunch.
Okay, I guess we're on to something.
The walls are
and it's not
soaking
okay.
in
Here's
the
another
air.
thing: the lunch is the same every day, and so is the goat smell. So the correlation could be whatever that. What is it? Broccoli and
chicken, right? Broccoli, chicken.
It's usually broccoli.
Yeah, broccoli doesn't have the most.
noodles.
It's not a great smell.
No.
So
and it doesn't smell like BO, to be clear. It's not like
no,
it
it's
actually
not human BO.
No,
it's not like somebody hasn't. Okay, so when I was in college, I was the sports director of the radio station. There was a guy there who was much like Josh in terms that he was like the technical guy. He was very smart with like all that stuff.
That's the nicest compliment Mike's ever given me.
No, he's giving you some good.
No, that's not true.
He's giving you some good ones.
He was a very important cog of the wheel, this guy. So, but he had tremendous BO.
What, tremendous BO?
I mean,
like you gave it a round of applause?
It deserved one.
Okay.
Like it had its own zip code. And
Right.
everyone would complain to me because he was on the sports staff and I was the sports director. Well, I'm like 18 years old, 19 years old at the time. What am I supposed to do? Hey, buddy, you smell?
Yeah, you have to take a shower.
Right. So it was like I had to go to the station manager and be like, we got this guy on this. I know. Everybody is complaining.
But I don't understand. How can you possibly get to a point where you smell that bad? Now, don't get me wrong. You go to the gym, you have to run to work one day, and it's like, I did not have a chance to shower.
That's kind
very
of
situated. Right. This is like, I actually do not shower for periods of time.
Well, I think what it was, like he did a morning shift. That maybe he didn't take the shower when he went to the station. He waited till after. Because I've been around him other times when he didn't have the BO. But it was unquestionable in the morning.
Yeah, but there's no way that even if you shower, like if you're a nighttime shower guy, or let's say you're a shower guy in the morning, you shouldn't smell that egregious.
I agree.
By the end of the day, no matter what you do, if you're not working out or anything like that, if you're just working.
Yeah, nobody in here has BO problem.
No.
I think it's food.
I love that story that you gave, Mike, because of the fact that I used to work with someone who had incredible, intense BO as well at my last radio job.
Didn't Schwein work with you at your last radio job?
This was not Schwein, but it's someone that Schwein knew at one point in time. And I actually went to my own boss, the general manager of the station, and he gave me a similar answer. Yeah, we know. You're not the first person to come to us about
That's
this.
a tough one.
I think you sit them
To
down.
tell somebody you smell?
You have to.
You would sit them down.
I would.
We had
"You
a
smell."
can of Lysol spray in the studio, and every time he left the studio at my old radio job, we would spray the whole chair and the studio because we just couldn't take it.
But if I smelled, I would want you guys to sit me down and be like, bro, you got to do something about it. I'm like, okay, thank you for letting me know. I'd rather
But that's
know.
because you have a level of self-awareness. A lot of people don't have that level of self-awareness.
To shower?
It's beyond
Yeah.
showering sometimes. It's just
This hour is brought to you by Bernie Robbins Jewelers. Shop the Valentine's Day sale now at BernieRobbins.com. Coming up, we'll talk a little NBA with Keith Smith from Yahoo Sports. Yeah, some people don't have the frame of mind to understand that a shower is helpful. That's all.
Yep.
All right, coming up, Keith Smith. Stick around. Sports Bash 97.3 ESPN, the free mobile app.
It's Sixers basketball tonight on 97.3 ESPN with the voice of the 76ers, Tom McGinnis, calling all the exciting play-by-play action.
Harris throws it away. Simmons with a steal. Simmons down the lane. Oh, yeah. Right down Broad Street with a two-hand jam.
The Sixers are in Portland to face the Blazers. Tonight, coverage begins at 10 p.m. Philadelphia 76ers basketball on your radio home of the Sixers in South Jersey, 97.3 ESPN.
It's a new year and an all-new Matt Blatt Nissan. Matt Blatt Nissan on the Black Horse Pike in Egg Harbor Township next to Home Depot. Help us celebrate when you get out of that old car, truck, or SUV and into a brand new Nissan. 2020 Nissan Kicks. $4,000 off MSRP on in-stock units or get 0% APR financing for 60 months on new in-stock Nissan Kicks, Sentra, or Ultima models. Plus, Matt Blatt Nissan has fast-track checkout available online at mattblattnissan.com. Our non-touch delivery and electronic paperwork ensures your safety comes first. We want to help with your credit approval today so you can drive a new Nissan with 0% APR financing. Matt Blatt Nissan on the Black Horse Pike in Egg Harbor Township or online at mattblattnissan.com. Unapproved credit. Negative equity will be refinanced at the new vehicle. All factory rebates and incentives to dealer. 0% APR financing based on 1516 for 1,000 borrowed. Offers can't be combined. Call 888-731-5030 for all the details. It's on at Matt Blatt Nissan on the Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township.
Oh yeah, it's on at Matt Blatt Nissan.
Feeling stressed in your skin? Not with Olay Body Wash infused with retinol. Olay Body with retinol improves skin 3 times better versus the leading body wash to transform skin from dull and stressed to renewed and visibly healthy. Because when I feel my best in my skin, I don't fear stepping into a new dream or taking risks like starting my own business. Olay Body, fearless in my skin.
When you want experience, go for the best. Pick up the phone and call Dennisville Fence.
Right now, Dennisville Fence is installing your neighbor's new fence. Right now, another neighbor is signing up for their new fence job. Right now is the best time to get started on your new fence or railing project because right now, the pandemic is causing major supply chain delays. What used to take days can now take weeks or months. So the earlier you start on your new fence or railing project, the more likely you'll finish your project on time and the sooner you'll enjoy more privacy, safety, security, and style. Don't delay your new fence or railing project. Get started today. Dennisville Fence is open, and we are now scheduling new estimates for spring installations and also offering material sales for DIY and new construction projects.
Go with experience, go for the best. Pick up the phone and call Dennisville Fence. 1-800-499-FENCE. Visit DennisvilleFence.com.
Let's start with all the people smitten by a certain sweetheart. Now narrow it to all those lovebirds who kind of let Valentine's Day sneak up on them and need to woo this sweetheart in a hurry. For you, you romantic but forgetful Cupid, Walgreens has great gifts for pickup in as little as 30 minutes. So whether it's a card and a box of candy or a bottle of perfume, Walgreens helps you get sweet gifts in a heartbeat. Aw.
This week, select fragrances are 20% off. Restrictions apply to 20% offer and pickup. See Walgreens.com/pickup for details.
Here's good news. Even with high unemployment, there's still a need for hundreds of thousands of cybersecurity professionals in the U.S. right now. And My Computer Career is training people to help meet the demand. No IT experience? No problem. Take the free career evaluation today at mycomputercareer.edu. Start your new life as an IT pro in as little as 4 months. Grants covering up to 53% of the cost are available to those who qualify. It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
Was 2020 full of dings, dents, and scratches? Your tax refund and Mako can help. Refresh your ride with a refunded Mako to undo a little bit of last year. Head to Mako.com to get a free online estimate today. Better get Mako.
The Sports Bash with Mike Gill and Brodes on 97.3 ESPN, the free mobile app. And now you can watch the show live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter at 97.3ESPN.com.
All right, Sports Bash 97.3 ESPN, the NBA tonight. And, of course, the Sixers take on the Blazers. Now, the Sixers, I don't know what the injury report is, but I guess Milton had that ankle problem the other night. He might be iffy. Blazers, I think, are without McCollum and Nurkic still. I think Dame Lillard's back.
So maybe we see more Tyrese Maxey stepping into that Shake Milton role.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's up with we talked to Michael Kaskey-Blomain about that earlier, and I guess he brought up, the point is that, there's more guys back, and he was just kind of out there. But I thought he was playing a little bit even before all the injuries. And look, he's played well enough that I don't know why he completely lost his spot in the rotation.
I think it's just, like he was saying before, you're in this situation where you're like a legit contender team. So it's tough. It's tough to find minutes, I don't think it's anything he did wrong. It's just trying to find out the balance of what's best for this team moving forward.
Well, would you look at a loss tonight without McCollum and Nurkic, and would that be something that would, I don't know, send up alarm or change your opinion? Because last time it was they lost that game, they were on the road. It was kind of, but is this different this time?
No, because one regular season game would never sway me one way or the other. I think I have a good grasp on what this team is after 25 games. They're a team that is in the conversation with the Nets, with the Bucks.
Yeah.
They are in that conversation, but the one but is the but we've been talking about for a couple of years. So I think I know what this team's identity is. A game against the Portland Trailblazers, I don't know if that will sway me one way or the other.
All right, let's ask Keith Smith, NBA writer, Yahoo Sports, as he joins us here on the Boardwalk Honda Hotline, and ask him if he has a identity right now. What would you say, Keith, is the identity? By the way, you're muted over there. I can't unmute you. You got to do that yourself if you can hear me. There you go.
There we go.
What would you say? I don't know. I mean, it's kind of hard because of the way this season is, but we're into February. We would be coming down, not the home stretch now, but we would be getting into playoff positioning now normally. But February hoops, midway through February, what is the identity of this Sixers team in your view?
I think defense still is pretty high up there. I think when you think of them, you think of them as a defensive team first and foremost, and then Joel Embiid. After that, it's to me, that is, there had been that question of whose team is it going to be? Is it Embiid's or is it Simmons? For a little while there, was it Jimmy Butler's team? There is no question in my mind now, this is Joel Embiid's team, and they're going to go as far this year as he can carry them.
Now, let me ask you if you think that is something that maybe Brett Brown didn't specify. And that was a problem. Hey, whose team is it? Is it Ben's? Is it Butler's? Is it Embiid's? And that Doc Rivers has made that clear. Joel Embiid, this is your team.
Yeah, that's a good question. Maybe, but I think I'd put some of that back on Embiid as well. I don't know that he was ready for it to be his team. When a guy couldn't necessarily finish games and was struggling to be out there late because of his conditioning and foul trouble and the like, I think that makes it hard to really say, hey, this is your team. We're going to do that. My guess is that has been the plan since the day he was drafted. Was, eventually we want this guy to be our guy. He's our franchise player, and now he's finally there. I really want to know if he took to heart getting swept last year in the first round. And if that was really him kind of coming back this year and saying, that's not happening again. We're never doing that again. And it's I'm going to make sure that this doesn't go, because that's kind of the way he's playing right now, that it will not be me the reason we lose. I am going to make sure I can carry us.
So this might be a tough one to answer, but this team right now, I don't know that talent-wise it's at the same level, but Simmons, Embiid, Harris, Curry, Green, and then what they have off the bench, Milton. I think their bench, they probably need another piece or two off the bench. But do you like this five, maybe not as talented, but fit-wise, better than the Butler team?
Yes. 100%. I think this group fits better together. As long as Tobias Harris is going to continue to play at this high of a level, you're not missing much from, that's no knock on Jimmy Butler. Great all-around player, was really good. But I think what he did was his need to have the ball a lot, and that's not a criticism on him, it's just how he plays, took it out of other guys' hands, and that's a challenge. And I don't think you can really have that. You need Simmons to make sure he's involved. You need Embiid to get his touches, and then you have to be in a position where Tobias Harris is getting plenty of shots and touches, and then Green and Curry need just enough shots to stay in rhythm. And I think that's really important. And I think that's where we are now with this group, is we're seeing this team fit better together. Everything just makes a lot more sense when you watch them play.
Yeah, is it fair to say that this is who Tobias Harris is at this point? Big fourth quarters, he's making big shots, they're going to him, even if he has a bad three quarters. Here comes the fourth, and he's helping out Joel Embiid, taking the stress off of him, maybe a little bit off of Ben Simmons as well when it comes to the offensive game. So we're 25 games in or so? Is it fair to say this is Tobias, or does he need more time to continue to prove himself?
I think it's fair to say this is Tobias Harris under Doc Rivers. He played this well with under Doc with the Clippers also. And I think, I think Tobias Harris has always been a guy. My issue with him has been he's a 20-point per game scorer who scores 30, 10, 15, 5, 25, 40. It's always been all over the place, where a lot of times you'd rather have the guy who's going to score 20 every single night and then occasionally bump up, but not have those games where he drops off. Now it's just consistent, and that really goes back to last year. I thought he was really starting to get that consistency in, but I think what Doc does is he makes sure very much so that if they go a couple possessions in a row without Harris getting a quality touch, he runs something for him. He makes sure if they go a few possessions without Green or Curry getting a shot, they're coming off a pin down, or they're going to run through a maze of screens and they're going to get a look. So I think that's been a huge difference. We're going to ride Embiid, we're going to ride Simmons, but we got to make sure these other guys stay involved and engaged in the game. And that's, I think, made a major difference for this team. I said the other day, they've won a handful of games in the last week or two that I don't think they win last year. I think they probably lose the Lakers game, maybe the Hornets game, and then their game the other night against the Kings. Those all feel like games this team would have lost previous, and now they're winning those games, and that makes a massive difference in how you think about them going forward.
The impact of Simmons, I want to get your take on that. There was a stat out there that when he's off the floor, they're the worst three-point shooting team in the league. When he's on the floor, by the way, the percentage is 29%. When he's on the floor, 40%, almost 41, it's like 40.7, second best in the league. And we talk a lot about, his scoring average is down. He's only averaging 13 points a game. But I guess the big mystery will be, is his impact still being felt because the fits around him are better, making him not need to score as much? And that number there kind of justifies that.
Yeah, absolutely. He's we got to put out of our head that he's ever going to be a consistent 20-point per game guy. I don't think we're ever going to see that. And if you do, it's probably not a good thing. Probably means you're not a very good team, because I think what we need to see now out of Simmons is the playmaking. And that's what he's been doing, is he functions as he's almost – it's so weird because he's 6'10", but he functions like an old school point guard. He gets into your defense, drive and kick. They're running a little more pick and roll this year with him operating as a pick and roll ball handler. It'll be interesting to see what happens come playoffs. The teams really bail out on him and say, all right, we're just not going to defend him at all. We're going to back off. But you guys know I've long held, if you're going to do that, you better have rim protectors because he's so big. He'll just barrel right into the teeth of the defense anyway, and he can either get a shot up or he finds a pass out to somebody, even if you play off him by several feet. He's just not going to pull up and pick up the ball and just stand there and hold it. So that's the thing that gets a little tricky if you just want to drop off him. But did much like I think a lot with the 76ers, there's a lot of people who are like, yeah, this is cute. This is nice. Show it to me when the playoffs come because that's what really matters.
Yeah, that's kind of the mentality I'm in with Ben is I know how great he is. I keep hearing about all this that he does, and I value it. I'm not one of those that think it's not valuable, but we know that there's a hole when it comes to that half-court set game. But speaking of him and how great he is at defense, he's an elite defender. He struggled against De'Aaron Fox, who's so fast, and it makes sense for him to struggle. But isn't it even crazy that we think, at 6'10" with that body frame, we expect him to almost be able to hang with him because he can hang with anyone.
Yeah, it is weird, right? Those have been kind of the guys who've always given him a little bit of trouble, those really fast, quick point guards. And I think that's fine. And, I go all the way back to Ben Simmons is a better defender than Magic Johnson was, but those were the guys who gave Magic problems, was when the other team had a really quick, fast point guard. That's, part of why Byron Scott ended up becoming the guy who defended those guys. But, their challenge has been who else, if not him? Danny Green can't really do that anymore. Seth Curry's he's not on the team for his defensive ability. So Simmons does it. And, if there's 5 point guards in the league, he's going to struggle to check. So be it. You live with him against everybody else and you're perfectly fine.
Keith Smith, Yahoo Sports, covers the NBA. Let's look at some NBA stuff with Keith real fast. And, I don't know, this regular season is a little wonky with the COVID guys in and out. So do you anticipate that the seedings aren't going to line up? In other words, we might not get a true indication of the pairings the way, you might get a 4 or 5 that really should be one team should be 2, the other one might be 7. I mean, so how much should we read into this regular season and the pairings?
Yeah, I think that's a great point because you're definitely going to see some of that, especially with how condensed everything is. You're a good week away from being the 2 seed and you're a bad week away from being the 10 seed. Just everybody is so tight and so close right now. So I think that is what we're going to continue to see. I think we're going to see these teams continue to be bunched up, and that's going to result in some playoff matchups where you're looking like, wow, Team X made it to the 3 seed, and this team's down, at 7, or this team's in the play-in and the like, and that should make for a very interesting playoffs. Will become very interesting to see as the season goes along. Are there teams that start to prioritize matchup versus seed? Do they look at it and say, well, seed's not going to matter as much. There's no, probably not going to be full buildings, even by playoff time, and fans aren't going to be in there raising a ruckus. So do we want to look at it and say, all right, we're better off against this team. So if we drop back a couple positions in the standings, it's not the end of the world.
By the way, is there any thought of doing playoffs in a bubble, or is that not even being considered?
Not that I've heard. The playoffs, there was a point where things really started looking kind of dicey, where I didn't think they were ever going to say we're going back to the bubble to finish out the season. I don't think the players would have gone for it for a long period of time, especially considering you would have all 30 teams there again. But I do think what there's been some discussion of at points back then was, all right, if we get to the playoffs and things are going the way they are with entire teams being shut down and those kind of things, maybe then you look to do the playoffs in a bubble. But now that it's kind of calmed back down, we're 1 case in the last week, 0 cases the week before, I think the fear was that there might be one more spike, kind of post Super Bowl party spike. Let's see what that looks like. And then we can get this thing moving, and then vaccinations and all the other things that are going on. By then I know now the plan is just play the playoffs in the regular buildings.
Yeah, well, what do you think about teams like the New York Knicks, and they're opening up like, hey, we're going to have 2,000 fans, or what do they say, 10% of the capacity allowed into the stadium? I think it's crazy just because it's New York. You hear it about Dallas. It's like, okay, well, we know they've been doing it down there in the South. But for it to be New York, I think it kind of makes a statement.
Yeah, it absolutely does. It was one of those things where I had this conversation with someone the other day, and they were like, well, there's not going to be any fans. And I was like, I don't know about that. The Knicks are opening up, the Nets are opening up. And if New York's going to do it, then does California start to get pressure to say, we got to allow a few people in? And then Boston, Philadelphia doesn't have fans in yet, right? Nope. As far as I know. So, eventually, does everybody feel pressure? You got to let some people in. I think I prefer the way most teams are doing it, where it's nobody's on the floor with the fans. The nonsense in Atlanta that went on with the fans was just stupidity anyway on the fans' part, but they don't need to be that close. Why are they that close to the floor at all? Like, that shouldn't even be a thing. So maybe that's what we go back to. But I think by the end of the year, we're probably going to see fans in most, if not every building, but it'll be a small amount. It won't be, 17 to 20,000 like most of these buildings hold.
Interesting one tonight, Boston and Toronto. And as you mentioned, this playoff pairings and the standings are kind of going to be interesting. But right now, Boston is a 4. Toronto all of a sudden is a 5. So they've all of a sudden started to play better basketball. So it looks like in the East, the only team that is not back in the mix, where Orlando's won, but Miami, we had talked about them last week. They've won 3 straight here too. So this Eastern Conference looks like it's going to be very similar to what we saw last year.
Yeah, I think it is. I think minus, maybe the Orlando Magic, it's probably going to look very, very similar to last year's grouping. As I, kind of scan through it, we'll see, what comes out of the play-in. That's going to be kind of the question mark point. I think Miami, and I've thought all along, will get it together and get there. It's just going to be, what comes in the play-in, and who gets there, and how does that work? Can 8 knock off 7 and get themselves in right away? Then what happens? Can 10 get in and get hot for a couple games? And I think if you're the Heat, you're looking at it now as saying, we're just going to keep doing our thing and hopefully know that by the time, if it takes us, having to play through the play-in, we feel confident we can do that and get to where we need to be a playoff team and then make another run. But they're making a push now. And as you said, Toronto's right there. That Boston-Toronto game, as weird as it sounds, is, kind of a battle for 500. Either the Celtics stay above or Toronto gets to 500. So that's going to be kind of interesting to see, how teams approach that, because to this point, those two teams have had a lot of guys in and out of the lineup, and the Raptors got off to a very slow start as well.
All right, Keith Smith follows the NBA at Yahoo Sports at Keith Smith NBA. And, of course, he, like all guests, appeared via the Boardwalk Honda hotline. It's the Sixers and the Blazers tonight. We'll see how the Sixers match up against this Portland team who's missing a couple guys. But the last time they smacked the Sixers around without key guys. So that's the late game tonight, 10 o'clock on 97.3 ESPN. And, Keith, of course, we always appreciate the time, man. Good talk.
Hey, guys, you picked on me last time.
Oh, look at that.
There you go.
What do we got?
Shorts.
A pair of shorts. You got the Sixers shorts in the house.
That's a nice item.
Brodes was trying to guess what hat you were going to go with today. He goes, solid.
No hat. Hatless. Finally got a haircut.
Nice. Looks great.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
All right,
y'all stay safe.
You do the same. Keith Smith, everybody, here on the Sports Bash Live on 97.3 ESPN. He had the Sixer pants all ready for us there.
Yeah, he's just a basketball junkie. I love it. I really do.
His
I
backdrop
love it.
was nice, though. He's got the Dream Team up there.
I love it. OKC pants, Sixers pants. He's got it all, man.
Hey, this hour is brought to you by Bernie Robbins Jewelers. Shop the Valentine's Day sale now at BernieRobbins.com. The Sports Bash is brought to you by AmeriSave Mortgage. Lower mortgage rates means more savings. Find out more at AmeriSave.com. All right, when we come back, we got the 5. We'll wrap up the show. Game night tonight. Kevin McCormick has a Sixers-Blazers preview. He also has the recap of today's G League opener where a couple of two-way players shined. Get the details at 97.3 ESPN.com. This is the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN, the free mobile app, and watch the show live at 97.3 ESPN.com.
Tonight on the NBA on ESPN Radio.
Floats it to the rim. Adebayo skies, grabs, and flushes. Bam Adebayo and the Miami Heat begin a 7-game road trip in Houston against the Rockets.
Here comes Oladipo back the other way. Pull up left wing three. Rattles it down again.
The place is here. The time is now. The top of the world and I can't come down.
The Miami Heat and the Houston Rockets. It's the NBA on 97.3 ESPN. Coverage begins at 7 p.m.
This month,
let me offer you some presidential advice. Leave me, your dollar in your wallet when you get 0% APR financing from Matt Blatt Kia.
Matt Blatt Kia wants to get you out of that old car you hate. Come in today or visit us online and get the credit you deserve. 0% APR financing available for up to 60 months on new 2021 Kia Sportage, K5, and Forte models. Or take $4,000 off MSRP on new 2020 Kia Niros in stock. Plus Matt Blatt Kia in Toms River and Egg Harbor Township wants your trade, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth. Don't forget, you can't make a mistake with our 4-day love it or leave it return policy.
It's gotta be a Matt Blatt Kia.
Offers with approved Tier 1 and 2 credit through Kia Motors Finance. Not all will qualify. 0% based on 1516 per 1,000 borrowed. Go to mattblattkianj.com for complete details. Expires 3/4/2021. Matt Blatt Kia, 6211 Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township. And now on Route 37 in Toms River.
Looking for the perfect gift for your sweetheart this Valentine's Day? Why not treat your sweetie to a gift card from Dr. Lyle and Back's Cosmetic Surgery Center of Cherry Hill? Gift cards can be used for anything from skincare products or services to surgery and everything in between. Hydrofacials, microneedling, skin rejuvenation, Botox, facial fillers like Juvederm, Radius, and Bellafill, liposuction, breast augmentation, and more. And Dr. Back's gift cards never expire. Call or stop in to get your Valentine's Day gift card. Call 856-MAKEOVER or visit iloveLyleback.com.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company customizes your home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Well, as the world's blandest man, the idea of insurance made for me is almost riveting.
Big fan of beige?
I find other neutrals too unpredictable.
That's cool. Liberty Mutual's just here to protect your home with customized insurance.
And here we've got my doorstop collection.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty. Okay, sports fans, it's time to get into basketball mode. Football's behind us, but we are making a fortune right now in pro basketball at wagerpro.com. Call this toll-free number right now, and I've got the TNT parlay tonight absolutely free on a 30-second recorded message. Call 800-499-3733. That's 800-499-3733. That's 800-499-FREE. The point spread winner of tonight's matchup between Miami and Houston, and the second matchup as well, Portland, Philadelphia. Guys, we're going 2-0. They're both nationally televised. We're going to make big, and I mean big money on both games. Call now. They're absolutely free, and they're on a 30-second recording. Call 800-499-3733. That's 800-499-3733. And be sure to visit wagerpro.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Sure, we can help you knock that oil change right off your list. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Castrol Edge full synthetic motor oil and an STP extended life oil filter for just $29.99, plus a $10 bonus reward if you're an AutoZone Rewards member. Not a member? We can sign you up fast, right here in store or on AutoZone.com. Getting the job done just got easier. Terms at AutoZone.com/rewards. Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
If you own a small business, you know how hard it can be to find new customers. Town Square has new tools that can help your business stand out and grow. Go to GetLocalCustomersNow.com for a free competitive analysis that will show you what other businesses are doing to find new customers and how you can do it too with Town Square. Be one of the first businesses to sign up and receive $500 in free advertising on this station. Start growing your business today. Visit GetLocalCustomersNow.com. That's GetLocalCustomersNow.com.
You ready for competition? It's time for 5 questions.
3 ain't enough, man. 95. Number 5 time. Now can you think that?
All right, time for 5 questions to get ready to wrap up the show tonight. It's been a fun one today. I won't be here tomorrow or Monday. I got a couple things I got to do. So the guys will hold the fort down.
Yes, Josh and I will do that. So how about this to start it off? Jeff Skversky had an interview with Joss. And Joss said, from my understanding, it's that the Colts have offered 2 second-round draft choices, maybe a 3rd or 4th down the road. That appears to be the best offer I have heard. Your initial thoughts? When he says maybe a third or fourth down the road, does that mean a third or fourth rounder
Here's
down
my
the
initial
road?
thought. My thought is this. Like, I'm thinking, okay, if I get 2 second-round picks, now I have 3 second-round picks. I could do a lot with that. I could trade back into the first round and get to the spot that I wanted to get to with your pick. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
So I don't hate the deal. But are you going to hold out for more than that?
Well, what if it costs you this offer? Then it can be damaging. But when he says maybe a third or fourth down the road, does that mean another second-round pick down the road or a third or fourth round pick?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, 2 second-round picks seems to be like, hey,
probably
we'll give you
realistic.
2 now, and we'll fit, boom, boom, boom. But those 2 second-round picks, that gives you 3 second-round picks. I told you in the break. You can almost get a whole new something. You can get a whole new secondary. You can get a whole new defensive line. You can get a whole new offensive line.
I would be okay with this. I would be okay with the 2 second-rounders. I really would be.
If that's your best.
Yeah, if that's your best offer,
Okay,
I would
put
be
it this
okay
way.
with that.
Would I hold out for more? Sure. But if I have to at the end say that's the best, I would take that.
I couldn't agree more. That's exactly where I stand on it. But it's interesting. I'm sure we'll hear more as the days move forward here. All right, so how about this? Sixers tonight. You think they win? Beat the Portland Trailblazers?
No. Tough spot, road game. I know that they've been good on the road, but I think Portland has their number.
Embiid over 30 points, though.
Every other night he does.
So the answer is yes. Any 1,000-pound sister watch before the Sixers?
No, I actually have a lot to do tonight. I got a lot of stuff to do the next day or two.
Okay.
So there'll be no 1,000-pound sisters tonight. They were on last night.
Ben Simmons over 13 points. This is me just spitballing here.
I will take the over on that.
Okay.
Portland's defense is horrible. All right, Josh has game night up next, and game night takes you to Sixers Portland at 10 o'clock. He'll preview it with Kevin McCormick, Sixers contributor from 97.3 ESPN.com. Have a great night, everybody. I'll be back on Tuesday. The guys will have you the next 2 days. I'll actually talk to you Monday nights from the basketball game. See ya.
Wake up weekday mornings from 6 to 10 with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin on 97.3 ESPN.
If you want the job, go take it.